Yay! Oh no, hold on real quick. I think the Bluetooth is on and that's why I can't hear you. So let me just turn that off real quick. Um, yeah, it was on. Okay. No, I still can't hear you. No, this is a turmoil. No. Ah! Okay, let me try something else. One more, one more. One more try. Okay. I still can't hear you, Manny. Is your microphone on? So I went from my laptop to my phone and I still can't hear you. No, I still can't. I know. I'm sorry. Technology is a bitch. I'm sorry. I love your shirt though. Our issues this morning is over 9,000. That's what's going on. No, I still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, no. Oh. I'm trying to see what I can do too, and it's just not working. I'm sorry. Do you want to try through Discord? I'm the worst lip reader, and I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry. Oh man. Technology is quite a bitch, isn't it? I still can't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm glad you can hear me, but like I feel bad that I can't hear you. Oh crap. Yeah, and I was trying to do it through the computer, so I forgot to put do not disturb on my phone, which I figured out how to do that now. Oh man. So, do you want to try through Discord? Or I don't know. I don't
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I still can't hear you. Hmm. I'm sorry. Trying to figure out what to do. Um. hmm. I'm at a loss. Well, actually, Manny, I have a Mac laptop right here with me, so do you want to try through FaceTime? I don't know if that might work.
Okay. I'm trying this again just to see. No. I still can't. God damn. Oh no. I don't know what to do. Let me see. I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh,
Did I get it?
yeah!
Oh my gosh. What did I hold on, Sarah? So then you don't have to ever make the same mistake like me. I don't want you to.
I just figured out that there's a chat too, so I was gonna go to that and be like, let's just type here.
I found the chat. Okay, so anyway. See, life throws you a lot of different curveballs. Hey, we figured it out. So, welcome to Manny's, I guess, podcast experience. We're gonna call it for now.
Yay!
I'm your host and my special guest, my very first guest and inspiration and friend, YinYangSara. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you. I am very honored to be your first guest, so thank you for having me.
No problem. So I'm trying to figure out. Sorry.
It's all right.
All right, so let's all right. So let's hear your story. I guess we'll start off with that.
My story.
Tell me about yourself. Tell me about who you are.
Well, my name is Sarah. I started on YouTube because I was a learning and up and coming makeup artist, and I kept seeing like a bunch of these YouTubers using high-end makeup, and I was just like, nope, you can use drugstore makeup and you can use it for your kids' makeup for Halloween. You could use it for yourself afterwards. And then it kind of just morphed into this weird thing after that because I started sharing my paranormal stories as I'm a paranormal investigator. And so everybody just wanted to hear more and more stories. And then that kind of morphed into that. And then people started wanting me to like try weird things. And so now I kind of just do whatever the masses tell me because I'm one of those.
Cool. So what got you into art? What got you into starting to paint besides you I guess experimenting with makeup and everything like that? What made you want to go into this direction?
That's actually a really good question because it's something that it's something I didn't even really realize that I didn't talk about very openly until my best friends asked me that question. They were like, well, why did you want to paint? Why did you want to draw? And it actually was because of my grandmother. Okay. Well, I had both very creative grandmothers on both sides of my family. My mom's mom, she was just a crafter. She loved like sewing. She loved making bird houses. She loved making bird feeders. And she had her own little jewelry making company too. And so I just loved the whole like making and creating of things. And my dad's mom, I remember when I was very, very little, because she passed away when I was very young. But when I was little, we went to visit her in her apartment one time, like we always would do. But this time it was different because she was in the middle of painting a portrait and she was following along with a Bob Ross video. And we walked in and I saw her painting halfway finished and it was on an easel and everything. And my jaw just hit the floor. I was like, that's in our blood? And like ever since then, it's stuck with me. And it's something that I've always wanted to explore. I always felt painting was out of my realm. Yeah. Like I just wasn't worthy. I didn't have like art lessons or real art teachings of any sort. I've always been very self-taught in everything. So I never explored in it until about 3 years ago when my friends wanted to get drunk and paint. And then, yeah, when we did that, we just drank wine and painted, and I loved it. And I felt like I was a part of something like bigger than myself as far as like the whole like Bob Ross culture that's kind of now exploding on YouTube for some reason. I don't know why, but it is.
Maybe you started the trend.
I would like to think so, but I don't know.
It's possible.
It's weird to see people doing like following along with Bob Ross while painting on my face. It's like, okay, to each their own.
That's awesome, though. I don't know. I mean, you're amazing at it.
Thank you.
I definitely know. Like, I'm being honest. Like, you definitely gotta keep going towards that because that's your gift. That's your craft. That's one of the things you're good at. I mean, I know you're an awesome mom. I know you're a hard worker. I know you're doing your best. You know, I appreciate that for you. Like, I don't know. You're just an inspiration to me. I love your character, the way you are, and even doing. I know you're gonna start eventually with Edna and everything like that. I don't know. You want to get excited about that? So,
that strange adventure that is Edna.
yeah, but I know it's gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be a great adventure. Oh, here. So what got you into you? I guess you did share that already. What got you into YouTube and stuff like that? You just felt like there was a need to makeup like at home and stuff instead of like going out and buying all these expensive products, right?
Yeah, it was definitely like there was a lot of people like Michelle Phan at that time. She was really big. She was exploding on YouTube. She was actually what got me started into YouTube and as far as like the beauty industry and everything of it. But I just always noticed that like, cause I've always been broke. I've always been just a really poor person. I'm a single mom of 2 kids. It's kind of just, yeah, it's kind of just like my MO for the rest of my life. But, I noticed all these people just using really high end makeup that I couldn't afford. And I was just like, if I can't afford this and I'm working a full-time job, what makes other people think that the masses can afford this? Like, unless they're sacrificing, you know, cell phone payments or, you know, like hot water or something, you know, it's like, no, people shouldn't do that. Like, it should be affordable. It should be, you know, you should know how to work with the crappy end of makeup as well. Like, everything doesn't have to be like $45 for one eyeshadow palette. You know, it can be a $12 eyeshadow palette from Walmart and it still work good. It's just you got to know how to work it. And that's where I was just like, you know what? You can do your eyebrows, your eyeshadow, and the eyeliner with one brush, and I'm going to show you how, you know,
Yeah.
like, and so it's like, I wanted to show people that like, you didn't need this huge, massive makeup collection. You didn't need these high-end, really expensive makeup brands, that you can use, you know, the really cheap ends that you get at Walmart or Target, and it still worked just as good. It's just a matter of knowing how to use it.
Right. Well, I think you're awesome at it. I really appreciate your work.
I try. I call myself a jack of all trades, master of none, because right. I'm always willing to try new things.
That's good. I mean, in life, we need to be people that we experience different things all the time. I'm trying to think. So, like, what are your goals for 2019? And I guess, what were your revelations for 2018? I'll show you some of mine too.
Oh yes, please, please.
Do all the talking.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start this in a minute just to help you. So my revelations for 2018, it's been a roller coaster. You know a little bit of my story. Going through separation, through a divorce, and this being the process of healing right now, and this learning more on myself. For me, I started the whole YouTube. My channel was pretty much more of like an outlet for me to express my feelings, express myself. Using it more to share my story, so I could be able to help other people, so then they go open up to share their stories. That's not part of my revelation. One of my revelations was this learning about self-love, self-care, like self-help and self-development. That's something that's always been in me since my college days, when I went to, you know, my background about going to, you know, private school or private college. Getting into like counseling and stuff like that. Because, you know, I still have a degree in counseling, but I haven't really done anything, because I guess me more is about money and, you know, getting my master's and all that. And you know how that is. It's more debt and debt. I'm trying to avoid. I'm already in debt, but I don't want to get more into it. So
yeah, don't want to bury yourself in the debt.
I'm kind of in there, but
you're all like, the hole has been made. I just gotta lay in it.
I'm just gonna get out of it. Then I got inspired. Yeah, it was about 2018 when I discovered about John Kim, the Angry Therapist. He's a licensed life coach, and he has his own spiel on his story and everything like that. But when I heard about life coaching, it was like it was like an aha moment for me. Like, this is what I got to be doing. Like, this is what I should be moving forward, like towards, especially because I already have a BS in counseling. Like, I really do a bachelor's in science, but you know,
that's awesome.
So anyway, it got me into wanting to do something in life coaching. I mean, I know I'm not. I know I'm still in healing, but I feel like I have healed from going through my divorce and everything. I mean, the revelations was I discovered like I wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. She even said she wasn't ready. I was kind of like not. I'll say ignorant because when she said that she wasn't, you know, that we weren't ready for the marriage, I was kind of like not really wanting to believe that because I really believed in my mind that I was.
Yeah, not necessarily ignorance, but more so of like a denial.
I did not. Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. So me, I guess realizing like, yeah, I wasn't ready. Like we both fell in love, you know, and our marriage was pretty much rocky. It was like it started good, and then it pretty much went downhill. And this a lot of drama, a lot of. In a way, it became toxic, which wasn't good because I realized we were both hurting each other in a way of not like physically or anything like that, but like this, I guess mentally. And she was dealing with a lot of issues, and I'm not hating on her or anything like that. I know a lot of the stuff I could have been better at. I know I could have been a better man, and you know, be a better leader, be a spiritual leader, stuff like that. I just wasn't ready. I thought I was because I saw that, you know, my parents were still. They're still together, and so it's been like encouraging to me because it's like, oh, my parents could do it, and I don't know how my parents are, and they're not that bad. It made me realize, oh, I could do this too, and then because I always just desired the family and wanting kids and stuff like that. Because I know kids, I know kids are gifts, and I know it's hard work, and I know they're not easy. It's kind of like having pets. I had a pet once. Well, I'm not gonna say that kids are like pets, but you know what I'm saying.
It's a pet that can talk back eventually.
Yeah, but it's just, rebellious, and I know, and
yeah.
Yes, they're going through all different parts of life and stuff like that. Kind of like us. I mean, more or less, we're like big kids.
Yeah, I'm realizing that.
We're just go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm realizing that like each year that I get older, like I still feel like I'm like anywhere between like 16 and 18. Like I still feel like I'm around those ages, but like my body doesn't necessarily feel that young.
No, I know what you're saying. I've been feeling, and I'll mention that too. I know what you're saying. Like the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking like, I pretty much. Oh yeah, you don't know. So I work at McDonald's. I do maintenance work. I'm up from like 4 to 1 every day, sometimes 2. It depends on boss wants me. So I come home and I'm like, I feel like like I don't want to do nothing. I just want to sleep or play games or watch your live streams. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Well, like I mean, as you know, like with my boyfriend, he does troubleshooting for a major company, and so a lot of the times he has to get in these like really cramped spaces to do his tests and everything that he has to do. Yeah. And he'll come home and he'll just be like, can we just not do anything? Can we just relax and just watch TV? And I'm just like, yeah, sure. That's good. That's fine by me.
So, no, I yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. But I've been trying to start taking actions. I guess I'm not going to promote it, but I'll show you the stuff I've been taking. So these are, I don't know, you guys, can you see that?
Little bit.
It's Shroom Tech. Pretty much these are vitamins, vitamin B12s. Pretty much.
Oh, nice.
I mean, you can check it out. The company is called On It. It's by, I know you heard of Joe Rogan. I always talk about Joe Rogan.
That's your man crush.
Man. Yes. But anyway, he has these different supplements. There's one more I want to show you too. So pretty much these are vitamins to help you pretty much make the best, help you use your body the best fully as possible, like your maximum. This is called Alpha Brain, and this helps your focus and memory. This is on the website, but you could go on Amazon. Actually, it's
that's what I need. My memory has been crap lately.
Okay. They go about 30 something. But actually, there's a kit, so you could get seriously, you could get all 3 of these. For like $75. I know it's a little pricey. I know. No,
that's not bad actually for like a good like high-end vitamin that actually works too. Like that's really not bad.
I feel like it does. I've been trying to take it definitely in the mornings, but yeah, like because it also I know I'm trying to understand more of my body too, and that's our bodies in general. Like we definitely need sleep. Like we have to sleep. Like pretty much our bodies are like when it's light, we need to be up and doing stuff. When it's nighttime, we should be sleeping. We should be resting. like that. So it's that cycle. But I think it'll help you. I do feel a difference. But also I'm also ADHD, so I don't know how much it does help me. But you should definitely try to see how it'll work for you. Like give it a week or two and see how it plays for you too. So definitely. I recommend it. This is definitely good, Sarah. If you want to go work out, go running. This does really work. I believe it 100%. Because
well, I mean, I do want to work out, and like I got like a whole like at home regiment that I pretty much have like created and stuck with for myself, and it actually does help me lose a lot of weight really fast. But running is just something that will like end me.
No, but I'm telling you, like if it's either like a day or two, I took these and I ran 3 miles on the treadmill. And after working all day, I just like was hustling.
Oh damn, that does seem like it works.
And even Joe Rogan says it. Like once you buy it, you think it's too expensive. He says literally to copy the ingredients and make it yourself.
Okay.
He believes it 100%. So I feel the difference in that one. And then I try New Mood. This is supposed to be more for like relax. Because our bodies produce melatonin and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is pretty much more or less to help you. And then, like I said, Alpha Brain is for your focus. He says like if he doesn't have a day for this, he goes crazy.
Yeah. No, actually, I keep melatonin vitamins at home because, especially with my youngest, like she's just a constant ball of energy, and like she already has been showing signs of having like sleeping problems. Like not only does she have a hard time going to sleep, but she has a hard time staying asleep. So we just give her like a small, tiny little chewable melatonin. And we even break that in half because it's like she doesn't need a full 3 milligram. It's only 3 milligrams, but still we break it in half. And it helps just relax her. It helps her get sleepy and she's out. And there are times where she'll sleep through the whole night in her bed. And those are nights that I look forward to. But but even then, sometimes she'll get out of bed and she'll come into bed with me. And I mean, she's still only 5, so it's that transition period. And I'm just glad to have something that's natural that the body does produce that can help her going to sleep at night.
Right, and these all those products like from Onnit and that company is all natural stuff. There's like nothing like they try to find the best like quality whatever it is like Tech I know it's like mushrooms and like not the other mushrooms.
Yeah, not the psychedelics.
Yeah, but these types of mushrooms. But definitely go try it out if you can. I don't even go to the website. I go to Amazon and then I'll type in like Alpha Brain and it'll like pop up and then you'll see like all the different brands of Onnit. Like they pretty much Amazon. So if you want to go through Amazon, I think it's easier. So
I'll do that. I'll definitely do that.
I think it'll be helpful for you too. I mean, I'm gonna keep on trying to take it as much as I can every day.
Yeah. The more consistent you are, the better they work.
Trying to be. That's the thing that I'm really trying to work on is being more consistent. If like, especially like in third, especially because I'm getting older. I'm a little bit older than you, so I'm like the old man. But like
I think you and James are the oldest in my group.
I'm trying to take care of my body as much as I can, and especially because I'm only getting older, I'm not getting younger. I wish I could get younger, but maybe
don't we all?
Well, I've been trying to really focus on taking care of myself. I guess physically, mentally, and spiritually. So, so that's part of my revelations. Is me just realizing that I have to take care of myself. I need to start loving. That's where the self-love. There we go. I was trying to remember where we're talking about. So the whole learning to self-love. Like I understand. Like we can't love ourselves, and we can't truly love ourselves or forgive ourselves for like the things that have happened in the past, and because what I realize is we can't. And you know this, we can't continue to dwell on the past, the things that we did wrong, but we can learn from those mistakes, so then we go move forward to and then taking those lessons and bettering ourselves. And then we feel like sharing because I feel we're both vocalists, like we both like to share our stories and so that, which is a great thing. We need people like this.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like people are very interesting and more people should share their stories and share where they've come from and their struggles, because I don't feel like enough people talk about struggles. Like it's almost like a taboo thing, and it's like everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has a story. Everybody's come from something and somewhere.
Yeah, and like I said, like going through that divorces, there was really a lot of like I never would thought I would get into the darkest, because I did get miserable. I felt depressed. I got a lot of anxiety. It was crazy. I mean, some negative things is I've been to a mental institute, which is like one of the worst things you ever want to go to. I thought I was see, I was thinking to myself, I thought I was crazy. Now I seem crazier.
No, and that's the thing. I think a lot of it is society too. Like society, like I was saying, like people put so much like taboo and emphasis on people having struggles and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a very normal thing. Like success doesn't it isn't a straight road. It's a bunch of back and forth and up and down and here and there and down there and back up, and it's a whole roller coaster of struggles and different struggles and mental and physical breakdowns, and you know, and it's that whole like we have different levels of batteries for ourselves. We have like our mental emotional batteries, we have our physical batteries, and when we don't take the time to charge those because we're shamed to, like, you need to charge your own batteries, what's wrong with you, you know, it's like it gets to us, and then we martyr ourselves into this shutdown, and then we end up getting ourselves into like a mental institute, and it's almost like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like so many people get to that point, and they still even shame themselves further from there. And it's just like, no, no, no. Like, if you get to that point where you need that kind of professional help, then get it, take it.
Yeah.
But also, like, don't allow yourself to get back there again.
Right. And I think for me at that time, it was like I was just trying to be strong. I was trying to be like, you know, that husband, like husband, be a good husband, take care of my wife. And
Yeah.
I just was dealing with a lot of, like, like I guess everything just hit me at that time when I was living in Georgia, and I just wasn't ready at all. And at that time I didn't have friends or family in Georgia either. So that really hurt me. I was really isolated. It was just much me and her and some of her friends, and then that was it. So I don't know, man. I was isolated. Crazy story is my mom predicted, like, well, she has a very strong intuition, and we could get almost into the paranormal side you want later. But she really thought she was going to bring me home dead. Like, she really felt that way, or just she knew that there was something wrong. She knew that I don't know, maybe she just knew, or well, she knows me well. Obviously, she's my mom, so but she just knew I wasn't happy. But I think I was trying to put up a front in a way, kind of like I was being pseudo, I was being fake in a way, because I was like, you know, I want other people, like I didn't want people in a way get into my business, but then also I
didn't want people to worry.
Yeah, I was trying to be optimistic. That's the thing, and I was trying to have hope and keep hope in my mind. But almost like towards the end, and when we were going to get into separation and everything like that, I realized I needed help. So I called my friend Tony, and I called my mom and let them know, like, hey, I need help. I'm going through a lot. You know, I'm really in this dark, I guess hole you would call it. I can't think of the word. But I just needed help. So I cried out about it to them, and then in the point she was going in and out of hospitals because she was dealing with a lot of suicides and stuff, and I didn't know how to deal with that, so I didn't know how to deal with that at all. Like, and then I really believe I'm an empath too, because what she was feeling, that I became that way too. Like what she was becoming, I was becoming, and it's like, this is not good. It should be that way. It should be always like, maybe if someone's like, if your boyfriend or whatever, if they're down, then you got to be the one positive. But I know sometimes it's hard though too. It's like life throws a lot of things that it's like dealing with finances or dealing with bills. I get you, man. I've gone through it a lot. So I guess my revelations was realizing that, you know, I wasn't ready. I had to be honest with that, and now I'm taking the time to be the man I need to be, to be independent, not to depend. Because the thing with relationships, I'm understanding, is that we both have to be both independent. And if you have one that's codependent on you, like all the time, clingy, in other words, term clingy, and they depend on you for everything, then they're gonna bring you down too, and then you're gonna end up going crazy. It's like, or you have to like end up either getting counseling or end up, you know, quitting that relationship. So so it's a lot. Relationships are hard.
They are.
It was like my first real relationship, and you know, pretty much my love, my first true love, because I had girls I dated, but they never even lasted a month. So,
oh yeah, I've been there.
I mean, I hope she's doing well for her sake. I really hope that she's taking care of herself.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
what I always hope for, because I understand she pretty much blocked me from life, from her entire life, which is fine. At the time, it upset me, because it's like, okay, I understand that, you know, we weren't ready. We need this, you know, divorce and everything like that. But at least, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe she felt like it would have been better for me to let her go that way, that I don't find a way to reach her out in a way. You know what I'm saying?
And it could just be something temporary that maybe she just needs for the time being. And then maybe like within the next couple of years, she might just refriend you and be like, hey, I'm in a better place now. Let's try just being friends.
Maybe. I mean,
you never know.
You never know. I mean, by if she does, then by then I know I'll be in a better place. Are you drinking your Coke? It's okay. I'm not drinking kombucha today.
I had coffee earlier. And I was just gonna like refill it and then like take it up here with me. Oh. But then I was just like, I wanted some pizza, and coffee and pizza don't really go together. So
sometimes I do, because usually if you ever have like pizza parties and stuff like that, there's always been pizza and well, I mean coffee or Coke and stuff like that. It's not a bad thing.
No. I prefer like pizza with Coke, or like, you know, just pizza with like something like, yeah, something more like just soda rather than coffee, because like I like coffee with like cookies or whatnot.
Gotcha. So today I'm reading several books. That's another thing. I need to complete books this year. That's one of my goals, to complete.
I need to start.
Well, I just don't. That's my problem. So I'm reading a book by AkaoRyu Marcus, and he's actually one of the owners of On It and stuff. So he has a book called it's like own the day, and then you get to own your life. I'm really butchering it right now, but
no, you're good.
His first chapter, he talks about like waking up by, like, you know, sunlight, and waking up like naturally before you hit the coffee. So I tried this morning. If you want to, you should try it. So you get water, right? Here's my jug of water. I mean, I didn't have this much of water. Then when you get water, you get Himalayan salt, and you put a pinch of it, and you get your apple cider vinegar. And this is pretty much supposed to, like, because, you know, we're dehydrated when we wake up. We need water naturally in those systems. Well, this is pretty much like, he calls it a cocktail. So you drink it, and it's supposed to naturally like give you that booster. Like coffee is supposed to be a second booster. It's supposed to be like once you're up and you're ready to go, coffee is just an extra booster for you. So, but all of us, I'm including myself, we all just depend on coffee, and like, oh, we need coffee. Let me drink coffee now.
I love the flavor of coffee too. That's my problem.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good flavors. I mean, if you want to try it, try it. It's just,
no, definitely, because especially with the apple cider vinegar, that's really good for your digestive health too. It's just a natural detox. And you have the Himalayan salt with the water, which salt helps your body retain water. And so like that makes a lot of sense. And like the healthy side of me is like, we need to start this like tomorrow. And I'm like,
hey, you got me.
Probably gonna start this.
I'll definitely be helping you. Just let me know what you need help. I'll definitely help you motivate it, because I need help too. Like I need, like I was telling you, like the days I realized like I'm always tired. So I also tried because I eat a lot of McDonald's breakfast, which is not good at all for you.
Oh, it's not. But oh god, those McGriddles.
I used to get
while drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Hash browns, and I get a burrito. I realized like that stuff is making me worse. And yesterday, it was yesterday. So I ate a salad, which is it's all right.
It's a salad.
And apple slices that they, you know, McDonald's. So anyway, I ate that, and then went back to work. And I had so much energy still, probably because I didn't eat all the bad fats. Because what I'm learning in the book, like there are good fats that we could eat, like avocado. He talks about bone, like a soup, like broth soup or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll send you a link. Definitely check out that book, because it's pretty much. I took my first time a cold shower, but I only tested it like for a minute. So I took like my natural shower, and then he says like even cold showers are supposed to be good for you, because I don't know what it does to the body, but I guess it wakes you up, or
well, it's if you look up a lot of the things of like Northern European cultures, like they do a lot of like ice baths and ice showers and everything as just like an immune booster and everything in their health. And plus it's good for your skin too. Because like after showering with hot water, the cold water tightens and closes the pores after everything's been cleaned. And so like I try to do that too, but it's more with an unwilling sense of like the hot water has ran out and I'm not done. I still have conditioner in my hair, so I'm just like, you know what? We're gonna do this cold.
You're more brave. Oh, I'll give you.
I'm completely unwilling.
I was trying to force myself, and it was like, oh, I can't do 3 minutes, so I just put it for a minute, and it was rough. I'll try today again too, so see how it goes.
I actually like doing it too during the winter, mainly because like when you stop the shower, like from while everything's still hot, that cold air just comes in and it makes it like it makes it regrettable to leave the shower. So it's like when you do the cold water before you get out, it's like you're already cold. That cold air doesn't then bother you as much, and it actually makes it easier.
Oh, yesterday was my first time, so I kept on like having to try to deep breathe because it was like I know how my body reacts to it, and it was like I wasn't ready. Like I didn't want to, but I know it's really good for you, so I was trying to experiment and take that.
It's a good lungs exerciser there because you're just like
right. Just, I don't like it, but I'm gonna keep trying. Got to. Well, I'm trying to take care of myself that way too. Trying to shock the body because I know it's good for you. So So what are you thinking about your goals for, I guess, losing weight and stuff like that? Do you have anything in mind? Because it sounds like you have a lot of ideas that you want to do. If you want to share that, it's up to you. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm a martial artist.
Oh yeah.
I grew up very heavily with traditional Japanese influence because my brothers started training when I was 6 years old.
Right.
And so I had to go with them to the dojo, even though I didn't train because on the down low, I was in ballet. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I wanted to do karate. I was a tomboy. And my mom just would not let me. She was like, no, I got 2 boys in karate. I got you in ballet. And I just paid for your costume for your next recital. You are not giving this up. So I was kind of forced to stay with ballet, but I was still just growing up with all this Japanese influence and, you know, the manners and everything and the martial arts of it and the practice, the discipline and everything. And so when I started training, I was 14.
Right.
And of course, like I was just very natural at it just because I grew up watching it. And so I went through the ranks and everything really fast. And when I turned 18, I had to quit because I began working and I was working all the time. And then I got pregnant and then I became a stay-at-home mom, got divorced, had to do that by myself, and then had kid number 2. And it's just been a struggle ever since. So I've learned to kind of take my own knowledge of all the training that I've had throughout the years and everything that I know and just utilize that at home, and especially with the little space that I have, because in karate, you're in a class with many other people.
Right.
And so like everybody, especially when the sensei just gets a feather up his butt and wants everybody to do push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and everything,
right,
you have to find a small little space on that floor to do those. So that kind of also helped teach me that, like, as long as I have a certain space in my room, I can do my sit-ups, I can do my push-ups, I can do my squats. And then and I can go out for walks in the neighborhood, which I actually found out that walking really helps me lose weight too. So like I try to stay active by walking around a lot, especially because my neighborhood's a little hilly. So I have some incline and some decline, so I can work the different muscles too. And when I was with my ex-fiance too, he got me into working out at gyms. So I got to learn about working out different muscles and working out in a different way.
Yeah, I'm still
So, yeah. I mean, it was a train wreck because I wanted to murder him, but because it was always like heavy weights, low reps, and I'm just like, I don't want to bulk.
Oh, see, because he needed to, because you have your body. I mean, you know how your body works. So, and maybe he was understanding that. He was just trying to make you, I guess, super strong.
Well, he claimed that like I didn't have any muscles, and that's what I needed to develop first was muscles underneath to be able to tone. Like you can't tone unless you have muscles. And what I was trying to explain to him was you can build muscles while not having to do the high weights and low reps.
Yeah, because you're gonna end up hurting yourself. You're gonna end up like breaking something or spraining something. You're gonna be more. It's like no.
Yeah. And plus, what he also didn't realize, too, is that I have natural underlining muscle. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest at the time that I started the gym workouts, but they were still there.
Right.
It's because, like, I've always retained some muscle density just because of growing up doing ballet and martial arts. Like, that's just part of my body structure now because it's been just implemented in my life for so long. And that's anybody who has done like any weightlifting or any training, sports even, if people have done sports since they were like young kids, no matter how long they go without working out, there is always going to be some underline of muscle under the fat. So it's just something that just kind of becomes part of their body. Unless they become completely like paraplegic or something, then that's when the muscle kind of dissipates.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so it's like, I knew the science of it, but because he had like schooling and everything, he had a bit of an ego behind it. So it's something that I should have definitely just stuck my ground when that was going on, because I did know what I was doing and I still do. And
yeah, like
I'm looking forward to doing.
Setting your negotiables and your non-negotiables and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm like that too. Like I definitely didn't have a lot of non-negotiables. Like kind of like things I believed in and stuff like that. I just fell in love, and I just wanted to please her. I that people pleaser. Like let me please my wife as much as I can, not realizing that I was doing damage to myself because I wasn't setting up. I wasn't being a man. Like not to say I was a boy, but
no.
But I didn't send up these boundaries, these walls. Like like hey, I'm gonna do this. This is what I believe in. You want to follow me? Cool. If you don't, that's cool too.
Yeah, and that's something I'm learning too. Is that whole like it's okay to put a line on the ground of like this is it. Like this is just where this line ends.
Right.
So it's like don't cross it because that's just a deal breaker. And I've always been just that person that like, oh, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, yeah, I give people second chances, but I was giving people like 5, 6, 10, 18 chances.
Right.
And still being like, maybe they'll actually figure it out this time. So like, and now it's like I'm finally getting to that point in my life now where it's just like I'm like, you know what? Patience is gone. I've ran out of the fucks to give. My fucks bag is empty. It's actually so much better in my life now, just in this short period of time of being in this new mindset of like this is just it. Like this is just non-negotiable. This is just how I view that I should be respected, and if you don't like that, then that's just it.
Yeah.
And just doing that, like in this short period of time, like I've been the happiest I've been in a long time. Like
that's awesome, Sarah. I'm happy.
Insane. Just this, like something of just standing up for myself. Of no, this is just not okay. And then he's just like, yeah, I agree with you. That's not okay. And it's like, wait a minute, you're agreeing with me. What's going on here? And I'm feeling good about this.
That's awesome. That's good. And you see those are signs already. Your relationship is going well. That the fact that he respects of who you are, he respects, you know, he knows your situations, he knows who you like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy for you.
Well, it didn't help too that I got drunk New Year's Eve.
We all
Drunk Sarah came out, and it was for me it was bad. Just because like I grew up with those very traditional manners and everything. So like for me to like be so just like out there and ridiculous as I was, thankfully he thought I was hilarious.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But like apparently I told him like ridiculous stories that I'm just like, why did I tell you that? Why did I tell you that? And he's just like, yeah, you kept saying too that sober Sarah's gonna be really mad, and just like, oh great, I kept talking in the third person. That's lovely. And apparently too, yeah, I opened up to him that I was afraid that he wasn't okay with being a stepdad to my kids. And I mean, we're still really early in our relationship, so like I don't know why my drunken self decided to bring that up, but I'm glad I did, because
that was probably, maybe that was in the back of your subconscious. You've been thinking about that, but kind of like, I guess, through alcohol, it made it. Don't they say a lot of times like when you're drinking alcohol and stuff like that, it makes you tell the truth, like,
yeah,
so
that's scary.
You had that in your mind, but then because I guess you were not sober, I guess it came out. But that's good though, because at least he knows, like, hey, like he sees your true side. He sees your insecurities. He's seeing the true you.
Yeah, and that's what he told me too. He was like, first off, I got to see like another side of you, which that's the whole part of being in a relationship, is seeing these different sides of you.
Right.
And he was like, and plus you were very open. You were just talking about all these things that are on the back of your mind that you don't normally talk about. Because I told him a story that I don't really talk about ever, which is my black belt story, why I don't have my black belt. And I apparently just went off on him with that whole thing. And he thought it was hilarious. But yeah, so like I even told him, yeah, I know, right? That's gonna be that's gonna end up being a story time.
Okay.
But yeah, like I kept getting that, like he was telling me about everything that was that I did that night, and I had like barely any recollection as to what happened. And so he brought it to my attention of like, by the way, you brought up that you're afraid that I don't want to be a stepdad, and I was just like,
oh.
I said that? And he was just like, yeah, and I think we should talk about that. And I was just like, okay, so I didn't bring it up because we're so new and everything. And he was like, no, I think it's great. I think we should talk about it because we are so early. And so he was just like, as soon as you told me that you had kids, of course, that has been something that's been on my mind, and that it has been something that I've thought about. And being in a relationship with you, of course, that's been on my mind even more so. And he's like, your kids are great. Like, I think your kids are adorable. That doesn't bother me at all. And so I hope you know that. And I hope you know that, like, I'm ready to take on any role that comes with us being together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, this is adulting.
Cats, you need to keep. No, that's really good. I'm really glad that you're discovering yourself. You're learning who you are as a person. You're learning. Because I guess we both gone through some really crappy relationships, and toxic and poison, and it was only hurting us. And now that you found someone that it sounds like he's very independent. He knows who he is. That's going to be really beneficial for you. So I'm really happy for you in that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's like, anytime any concern comes up, like, a part of me is just like, no, just, keep it on the down low. But then, it's like, no, that's what we always do. We need to do something different. We need to bring it up and just see what happens, Yeah. If it turns up into an argument, then we know. And if it doesn't, hey, it doesn't. And so, like, I bring it up to him, and he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, it's like, what's happening? Why is my life actually working now? What's going on?
That's cool. No, that's a good thing. I'm excited for you. So
It's just weird.
Huh?
I'm used to things like failing and breaking and falling apart in my hands.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think I used to feel that way at times too. How did he take it? Like when you told him you were a paranormal investigator, did he believe it? Is he a believer? Is he a non-believer in those things too?
You know, actually, it's so funny. It's quite adorable. He's not into it like I am. I mean, he does think it's really fascinating and interesting and everything, but it's not like something that he's into.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not something that he like goes after to research. To him, it's kind of like if it's there, it's there. If it's not, then it's not. And so it's just kind of like either way for him. Like it's not necessarily that he's a skeptic, but it's just not necessarily that he's a believer either.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
No,
like very just neutral about it, which is weird for me because I'm just like
you believe it, you've seen it, you have experienced stuff.
Yeah, it's like I'm hardcore passionate about it, so it's like
take into an investigation. They're like, hey.
It's like I don't really understand the neutrality of it, but I also appreciate it because he's so like just neutral in that whole idea of it, that he doesn't know anything about paranormal research or paranormal study. So the first time I came out here, he took me on a ghost tour in downtown Seattle, and like I was just like
surprised by that he did that.
I was shocked because he's so neutral. Yeah, he's so neutral about it. I didn't think it just fazed him at all, but he saw that like it was such a big deal for me that he took me on it, and we had a blast. And he was even intrigued by a lot of the stuff that, you know, they were sharing with the EVPs and some of the photos that they were sharing during the tour.
That night?
I'm sorry?
I said, did anything crazy happen that night? Like any like big evidences or anything?
I mean, they did share an EVP that they captured in a building that we were actually in. It almost close to the area where they captured the EVP itself. And that was really fascinating to know that. And they also shared photos of a certain building. Supposedly, they like people can capture like a whole apparition of a woman in a window. I didn't bother taking any pictures because my whole thing is like, I don't want to take a photo from the outside. I want to be in there. I want to spend the night there. I want a sleeping bag. And I want to be left alone.
You said that one time. You said that you would chill at the demon house.
Oh my god, yeah, and it's so funny because there's a little store on the corner of one of these buildings, and I if I remember right, it was called the Merchant Cafe or something like that. And it's actually known to be like incredibly haunted, like dangerously incredibly haunted. And the guy who was leading our ghost tour, he had been a paranormal investigator for 30 years. And he was telling us about his experiences in that building. And he's just like, I refuse to go in there anymore. I will not recommend anybody go in there anymore. If you go in there, just do not spend the night. Do not do an investigation. And I'm just like,
you're thinking the opposite. You're saying like, no.
Yeah, I'm just like, who do I talk to be able to spend the night in there?
Camera set up.
Oh yeah, I immediately looked over at my boyfriend and I was just like, can I? And he was just like, there is something wrong with you. And I'm like, yeah, there is.
You're funny. You just love it. That's your passion. I guess we could talk about that. Well, was there any huge insights in your revelations of 2018?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. Like, I mean, first off, 2018 sucked for me as well, as you know. Like, I got sick a lot this past year. I lost my job at the museum because I was sick so often.
I'm wondering, you got sick because there was a lot of activity in that museum, and you know, obviously there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? I wonder.
Yeah, well, honestly, first off, it's a very old building, so I'm sure there's a lot of like like just a lot of like old things in that house, like dust and probably asbestos and mold.
Yeah.
You know, it's an old building, and it's kind of what comes along with the turf.
Yeah.
And but I think it was also because of the tourists. They were coming in, coughing and sneezing, vomiting everywhere.
Really? That's
oh
crazy.
yeah. Oh, just in the first couple of months that we were open, because since I was part of the team that opened the museum.
That's really good.
Yeah, we had people at least once a month puke in the jail cell room or upstairs in the Dybbuk box room.
Yeah, I can believe that though.
Yeah, I mean it's not hard to believe, but also at the same time it's like, okay, what's paranormal and what's stomach flu and what's hangover?
Yeah, it could be a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah, so it's like it's hard to pinpoint as to what, and like I was getting everything from like stomach flu to sinus infections, colds, and all kinds of things, and it was to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed, and I was always calling in sick because of it, and everybody else was just going into work sick and thus spreading it around. And then they would be sent home, and then everybody would be shorthanded. So I was always like, no, you call in sick so that way they can replace your position. You know, they know you're not exposing others to you being sick. And so because of that, I did call in a lot, and they did have to let me go.
Being respectful because you didn't want other people to get you sick because you're sick, you don't want to give it to others. So that's more of like the common courtesy. You're using your sense. Your common sense.
Yeah, and like I was a bit punished for it, but it also wasn't my fault, and it wasn't Zach's fault. It was the management, because Zach was always just very forgiving to me about the whole thing, because him being sick all the time, he understood. But the management was just really rude about it, and they were just very cold and very like, so-and-so comes into work still sick, so what's your problem? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you wanted me to cough and sneeze all over you.
Yeah, I've been thinking that too.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so like I got fired from there, but I mean, I'm still on good terms, and Zach did offer me to come back, and I have been asked to come back a few times since, but I just...
He liked you so much as the fact that he wants you back.
Yeah, yeah, and it's... I would love to go back, I would, but I just... It's like I only got sick once since being fired from there.
That's true too.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if I want to go back to that.
You got your kids and everything, so.
Yeah, and then my mom over the summer she caught pneumonia.
Oh,
and
is she better, by the way? Is she doing a lot better now?
Yes, yeah, she's pretty much 100% now. I mean, she still has like good and bad days, but it's like the bad days are getting further and further apart. So it's like she's getting more and more good days, and her breathing's getting back to normal. But it was just really scary there for a while, where I really thought that like I was going to have to call my uncles in Texas, and you know, and it's just like I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to be the person to do calls, because my siblings, you know, they all live on other sides of town, and my sister lives in Kansas, so it's like I would be the one to have the responsibility of calling my mom's side of the family, which I don't get along with. So I was just like, Ma, you can't die on me. I'm not calling Uncle Art. This is not happening. And she's just like, no, I'm not gonna die. It's fine. I'm okay. But it got scary, and I was quite terrified for a while. And I mean, my dad even was terrified, which my dad doesn't usually let that side of himself show. So it was really interesting to see my dad just be so like overly careful with my mom. And it was nice. And I think it was something that definitely needed to happen, as far as like my family like coming together more, because my family, we're always button heads. Right. We're German and Irish. It kind of just happens.
Everybody, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens. I mean, I guess we in life, like, you know, we could not get along with our siblings or whatever, but then something in a way traumatic happens. Then it makes us wake up to reality. It makes us realize, like, you know, we could come and go just like that.
Yeah.
Being more in the present and understanding like, hey, we just need to love each other. So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it kind of threw me into a bit of an existential crisis because I also I realized I was like, oh God, I'm turning 30 next year. What the hell?
Oh.
And,
It's just you're saying.
well, it was also just crazy because like my oldest turned 10 in 2018, and that still blows my mind. Like, because it's like just yesterday I had her and she was this teeny tiny little baby. Like she was so small for so long because she just didn't grow. And she was just the tiniest little thing, and now she's like she's talking back and she's going through mood swings and everything, and I'm just like, what is my life? Like, when did this happen? And
that says is mini you, little Sarah, or is that your other daughter that has that she acts a lot like you?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, my oldest acts a lot like my sister, which her and I don't really get along, but I'm implementing a better bond between me and my oldest than I had the opportunity to with my sister.
Okay.
So yeah, her and I definitely have a better relationship than my sister and I. And my youngest, she acts just so much like me that I just like, there are times where she'll say or do something and I just stop and I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, no.
You're trying to put on the video and they're like giving you a hard time. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God. Yeah, they're just
how to find the DVD. That's why you get like a PlayStation, because then you just pop the DVD in there and it just runs and play.
It's funny because like, okay, so this is how weird my children are. They have a bunch of like, they have tablets, iPads, laptops. They have a Nintendo Switch even with Mario Kart and everything.
I want one.
Yeah, oh God, those things are great. But yeah, they have like all of this stuff, and like it happens to me all the time, and I can't stand it, but also at the same time, like I can't be mad at it because it's just kind of like, oh, you're doing this on your own, and I should be proud, but I also want to strangle you. Like I'll buy them new games, or I'll buy them gift cards so they can purchase things in their games,
right?
All that stuff, and every time whenever I do that, they'll just willingly on their own put their devices down and color or play with their toys or go outside and run around. And I'm just like,
you're like mind-boggling. Like, I just gave you money so you go buy some games, and now you're doing other things besides what I just gave you money for. It's like,
exactly. It's like, I can't be mad because they're doing it on their own, of going outside and playing like normal children instead of being on their devices.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I spent money on this, you ungrateful little shit. So it's like I have these moments where I'm just like, I love my kids to death, and I love how they are. They will always drive me crazy, though, as good children do. Yeah. And they're both like doing really well in school too. And it's like, you know, Leilani, she dropped 1 grade in reading just a couple weeks ago. And she just came outside to me in tears because she thought I was mad at her for dropping 1 grade. And I was just like, honey, like, it's not a big, do you see me mad at you? It's okay. It happens. Like, we'll work on it together. That's it. That's all. And she's just like, I don't want you mad at me.
It's because she doesn't want to disappoint you and let you down.
Yeah. And so it's like, it makes me feel really, yeah, it makes me feel like a good mom that they're so self-aware as what they're doing in school and everything, because I wasn't. Oh, I was a bad kid. I hid my report cards like you wouldn't believe, because I was the youngest of 7.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to get away with not handing my parents my report cards, forging their signature to give back to the teacher that I gave it to them. Yeah, I was that bad. Because my parents were just so busy dealing with my siblings and working full time that they would always forget about like me. They would always just be like, "Oh, Sarah, yeah, your report card." I'm like, "Yeah, I already gave it to you." "You're right, you did. Sorry." And I'm just like,
"Oh, Sarah."
I was bad. So, yeah, so it's like knowing that I have the great kids that I have in comparison to how I was, it's just like I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm happy. Like this is wonderful. And this year has really shown me, or this past year has really shown me the how great of kids that I have, because also my youngest started kindergarten. And so I was scared for her for starting full-time school for the first time.
Right.
And because she's just very hard-headed. She's always been very clingy with me. And she is a freaking moose as well. Like she's just solid. So like I was afraid that I was gonna go to the principal's office almost every day and be like, who did she beat up today? But it's not turned out like that at all. Like apparently like she's always like the teacher's pet. Like even during substitutes, like she's always the one to help the substitutes find where everything is and keep to the schedule. And I'm just like, who is this child?
Sounds like she got some leadership in her too, which is a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, that's my phone. Some random number.
But I was gonna say you have that leadership in yourself too. It's since like your whole story and what you have gone through. You always been a person who's self-motivated. I wish I had that sometimes. Sometimes I have to like find like inspirational people so then I can get motivated to start doing other things. Like sometimes I don't.
Trust me, when it comes to finding motivation or inspiration, I still find that in others. Like I find that in you, Manny. Like seriously, like you keep me going at times too, because like yeah, there are times where like I just kick myself in the butt, but I think that's also because like I'm the youngest of a lot of kids in my family, but also I was left to kind of just fend for myself. Because I was the youngest of so many, like I had to take care of myself. I had to make sure I got fed. I had to make sure I got dressed. I had to make sure I did my own laundry, like just like basic necessities. Like I had to learn at a very young age just for myself because my parents were so busy and my siblings were just in their own lives. Right. And I'm so much younger than them too. Cause like, my next sibling, she's 4 years older than me. And it just goes up from there. And so like we were never really close. And I've always learned how to like whenever I get into certain ruts or anything of like, okay, I'm feeling really down. What do I need to do? I need to feel laughter. I need to feel happiness. How do I do that? Okay, I need to watch comedy. I love stand-up. I'm going to watch some comedy. So, like, I'll watch Bert Kreischer or Kevin Hart. Even though he's going through that whole conspiracy thing right now, I still love Kevin Hart as a comedian. And I'll watch many, many others. And it gets me going.
I watch a lot of those. I mean, I seen Joe Rogan's special. It was pretty good, though. He's pretty funny, so.
Yeah. I know him and Bert Kreischer hang out a lot. And they go on each other's podcasts a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I want that type of life. So. Let's be doing podcasting and make that a job.
Oh God, I know, right?
I think I would love it. It's like like I said, I love hanging out with people and hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
So I had a thought and then I lost it. See, so that's really good that you're having a lot of different revelations too.
Yeah.
What are your goals for 19? I know you want your channel to continue growing. I know you like. I feel the same thing. I want to make better content and better videos and stuff like that. It's a lot of work though too. YouTube is not easy, by the way. I realize that.
Thank you. Yeah,
videos. It's like I seen your videos. Your videos are better than mine. It's like
no.
You need to teach me.
I honestly my dad, I grew up with my dad being the head lighting of a showroom, and Like, and I just grew up knowing lights. I grew up knowing audio and everything. So like,
kind of like the production side, you kind of learn and grew. That's cool.
Yeah. So like, and like, you know, doing stage performances and everything on myself, you know, doing ballet, and I love doing plays and acting and everything. So like having a stage performance and doing things in front of a camera and knowing,
good at this.
yeah, knowing like also the behind the scenes aspect of everything, of like knowing your warm and cool lights and you know, balance and the backlights and everything. Like I've known all that just because of I mean, pretty much, not to stereotype, but also I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. You know, it's a production life in Vegas. It's kind of hard to not get a job on the Strip where there's all production. And so it's...
Have you ever thought about starting your own stuff like that? Like making your own production stuff, like your own like name, and then trying to like have people, like networking with people and getting something going, even with your YouTube channels? You could do that. You could take it further down.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know about Shay Carl. He did the Shay Tard's family vlogs on YouTube. No. He started Maker's Studio through YouTube, and he was able to get a bunch of these other YouTubers and everything. Even Philip DeFranco was one of the main partners in it. And there was a couple others, I think. They helped start Maker's Studio, and it was basically a place where YouTubers could rent out studio places to do film, and basically like a lower end YouTube studios.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, it was smaller, but and it was probably a little bit more expensive to rent out stuff, but you were still able to have a space to film if you wanted to do a music video, if you wanted a higher quality camera or better lighting for whatever it was.
I always joked around, like I said, your room is perfect. It's green. It's the perfect studio background. I say it as a joke, but now I'm thinking like, oh, that's awesome.
Do you notice? My boyfriend's walls are green.
Oh, see, green is everywhere.
It's everywhere, and I hate it.
Well, if you think about chakras, green means your heart chakra.
Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I still want to paint the wall.
It's green, and then I know.
It was actually supposed to be like a little bit darker than this green.
Yeah.
And it ended up that like bright green screen green completely by accident. And I ever since then I've hated it. I've been wanting to paint it.
I'm sure you want to paint it.
Oh God. I do have these little sample cans of like a nice like silvery gray that I'm gonna test swatch on a wall.
You want to...
Yeah, I want definitely something neutral, but also something light enough, because my room gets really dark, really, really dark. And so I would love to do a dark color in the room, but because the room is just already naturally dark, I feel like it would really just make the room a little too dull.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to help make it lighter, brighter, and everything, and also keep it neutral. So definitely something on a lighter silvery gray tone is what I'm going for. And I think I found the perfect color, but I don't know if it's too close to white. So I'll see after I swatch it, and we'll probably go from there.
All right.
Right now. Yeah, I might live stream it though and be like, "Bye-bye, green walls."
Is it rainy there today, or is it sunnier? I know you're usually moving your camera to.
It's cloudy today. It was raining earlier this morning, but it's calmed down, and it's been really windy here though too lately. It's been interesting because I'm used to just Vegas being windy, but it's been pretty windy here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty no, I'm really happy for you. I'm excited that you having different goals for 2019. Like for me, it's a continuation. Just keep on trying to get healthier. Like I said, one of my goals is to lose 30 pounds. Because I guess for my height and my weight, it's like I'm overweight. But it's probably like all the bad fats that I used to eat and stuff like that. So I'm really just trying to take care of that, because I'm trying to experiment. Like, okay, so I'm realizing, you know, obviously eating like fast food and stuff like that is hurting me down the road, because then I come home groggy. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to be productive. And see, like today I'm off, and I've been all day wanting to do stuff, be productive. So it's just, I am naturally that way. So you said for your goals you want to also read books or start reading a book. Anything you want to start reading? You have anything in mind that you want?
I have 4 books currently in my in my nightstand next to my bed that I keep telling myself every time I put another book in there, I'm like, I'm gonna read this before I go to sleep at night like an adult, and it never happens. But there's this one book called what is it called? It's like the great battle or great something between the McDonald's and the Campbells.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a the great feud of the McDonald's and the Campbells. It's if you ever go to Scotland,
which I would like to one day.
Yeah,
I would. I always want to go to Ireland. I always wanted. I guess feel drawn to go there one day.
Ireland and Scotland are like bucket list places for me. So I learned that there's places in Scotland that if you go to like certain stores or bars or pubs known as there, they'll have a sign on the outside of them that'll say no Campbell's or they'll say no McDonald's, depending on where you are in Scotland. And it goes all the way back to like, I think it's like the 1600s of a family feud that happened between these two clans, the McDonald's and the Campbells. And I've always wanted to know about it. And so I have that book that I've been dying to crack open, which I was supposed to bring it with me when I came out here for my flight. So I had something to read.
What about audiobooks? Have you ever thought about listening to audiobooks? I try to listen to audiobooks. If I can't read it, it's like for me, because of my vision too, like sometimes it'll take me longer to read a chapter.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic, so.
And then I just could hear it. Like I went through 3 chapters with that one book I just got about trying to different, the water and all that. And I see I'm flying by. Whenever I get inspired by something or something that I know I'm gonna start practicing and trying it, then I could read it quicker. So I was just saying about audiobooks. That might help faster.
I would love to do audiobooks. It's just for me it's because like places like with Audible, it's like you have your monthly membership fee and then you have to pay for the book itself, which is the same price as a normal book. And and it's like, so that's where I'm like, I'm broke as fuck. So it's like, I'm like, I can't afford that. And so like, I mean, if I ever got sponsored by Audible, fuck yeah, absolutely. I would take that in a heartbeat and just be like, I want these books and you don't have to pay me anything. Just give me these books, audio form. That's all I want.
May used to try to send them something. I'm a YouTuber. I get it'd be cool to get sponsored by you. I'll do reviews on your books. You never know. I mean, you can try it. You never know if that works.
Because like the whole live streaming and everything and the kind of community that we have on my channel, like, I mean, you see the same regular people that come on all the time and we've been getting new people every so often too. It's a great community that's growing there. And like, I love it all the time so much. And so like, I want to do a book club and I want us all to do it. And so I think it would be I think it'd be great.
I think it'd be fun. It'd be challenging too, because we could all challenge each other, and then we could share what we're learning from that chapter, or what are the different things that you might take on something, you might see something that I didn't see, and then I can share what I'm learning. So that would be really fun. That'd be really cool, and it'd be too. So I mean, and you can also experiment with Google Hangouts. I know there's other better I know there's like OBS, but that's like more for the streamers, the gamers, and stuff like that. I was trying to do what I had in my head was to use GarageBand to record our interview and then live stream it through YouTube. I didn't know how to do both. So.
Oh no!
So I'm just trying this. I mean, I just want to keep playing with it and see where it goes.
Yeah, no, definitely. And when you figure that out, let me know, because
then you could still record your audio. Because I was thinking, right now I'm using. You said you used to use iMovie. If you see my videos, I use mostly iMovie.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way to transfer your audio, your file from GarageBand to YouTube, and then just stream it from normally like your webcam from YouTube. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. because I know with iMovie too, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's an option where you can do audio only when it comes to exporting.
I think so.
Yeah, there's like an audio only export option that you can do, and that's what I would do when I did podcasts with my friends. I don't know if you ever got the chance to see them from Just a Sec. They were
I listened to what you had, like 3 of them. I listened to all 3 because I used to work at a church and stuff like that.
I am so sorry.
No, I like them. I thought
you were horrible, Manny.
You were funny. I enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed people's characters and stuff like that, so it didn't bother me.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that train wreck of a podcast was entertaining.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Hey, at least you did it though. At least you're experimenting.
That's true. And now it's hard for all 3 of my friends and I to get together and do those regular podcasts. Like at that time, none of us were working full time, so it was easy for us to get together and do something like that. But then, like as soon as we started it, what was it? Emmy got working full time. I got working full time, and then Kari got working full time, and we just never saw each other. And I was just like, well, there goes that.
No, I hear you, but maybe you should try again. It sounds like you want to do. Well, you did mention it. You want to start doing podcasting too. Yeah. Try it. Just let them know, like, or maybe you just gotta plan it out. Like, say, like, hey, when's the best time for all of us to get together, and then you just do it.
Yeah. It's also just hard though, because it's like we see each other so less often anymore that it's like when we do see each other, we just want to hang out and bullshit and not have to worry about stuff like that. So maybe in the future, but I don't know. Just because I feel like they're not as into it as I am. Because like I'm like so into like this whole like working from home and doing these like recordings and sharing stories
and stuff.
Yeah, like I mean you find people fascinating like I do, so it's like when it comes to like having the opportunity to share stories or share other people's stories, it's like hey, where's a microphone, let's record this.
I could really see, something that came on my mind. Have you ever thought about writing books, especially like your paranormal stories and stuff like that? I just thought like that would probably be really good for you. I bet you could do it, especially you say you want to do something at home. You just be typing away.
Oh God, I would, and it would be terrible. But I've thought about writing a paranormal book, especially like going into detail as to like what I did wrong in investigations, what was ordered wrong from like founders or whatnot in groups and everything, but also like the fun parts of paranormal investigating versus the reality of paranormal investigating as well. And like, so that way it's like, it doesn't make paranormal investigating look terrible, because I realize I tend to make paranormal investigating sound very dull just because it's like, it really is just sitting around asking questions to the air and
do something like stuff on tips, like give people tips, like beginner. Yeah. Like that. I bet you could write a book. I don't know if anyone's really done that. It sounds like I don't know if too many people have done like tips to help people how to like do investigations and stuff like that.
Yeah, as far as a tips book, I don't think there is. So that would be kind of fun to do. But like, I have actually been writing a nonfiction book for like the past several years. I've never finished it because every time I would get close to like, there would be either a computer crash, so I would have to rewrite it, or I would lose the file, or there would be a system update. And so like I wouldn't be able to open up the file anymore because of it. So I would have to just rewrite it anyway. So I just had the worst luck with that book. And every time whenever somebody has read it, they've always given me great props with it. So I guess
yeah,
I like to think I'm a decent writer at it, just because of how many people read it and they were like, yes, this is good, you need to keep going with this.
See, there you go. That's a sign, sir. You need to pursue that too.
I should. And because it is a vampire story, but it's a very like because I got so mad with Twilight. I got so angry with that whole series. So I was like, if this trash can get published, then I can publish something. So that's when I really got serious about writing it, and I really liked how I was going with it because it was definitely a more realistic sense if something of that whole vampire like drinking blood and immortality just based off of those ideals of a vampire, if something like that were to exist in today's world, how would they survive? How would they live? Especially like with, you know, you have the government and the FBI and the CIA. Like if somebody were living immortal, they would want their hands on that to know how to bottle that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the take where I went off with the vampire story, and I do need to finish. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? Actually, that's a good story. I should finish that.
Okay, that's baby steps. That's those steps where you get like started trying to write. That sounds good. That sounds like a really exciting thing. So definitely keep pursuing that.
Yeah, because it's also like, you know, they also have to deal with still like maintaining relationships with clans around the world, because they're not the only ones that are immortal. There are others that are immortal. And the whole idea too of changing from human to vampire is completely different in my story as well, where I took a very cruel and graphic way of doing it. So I didn't like the whole like, oh, he bit her neck, now she's a vampire. I was just like, no, I want this to be painful. I want this to be the most horrific thing anybody has ever seen. So that way it's definitely one of those things you don't want to become.
Speaking of vampires, this made me think you definitely should go check out Sabrina. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's really good. I saw it.
No, I need to. I keep seeing like previews and everything of it, and I'm just like, I need to watch this.
But I know it's kind of harder because I know you have kids and stuff like that. You just gotta wait until they're sleeping, and I'm like, oh, let me go watch it. They're about like 45 minutes episodes. They're not.
Oh, okay, so that's not too bad.
They're not past an hour, so they're and they already made it. Like they're working on season 2, season 3. They're gonna keep going at it. So
yeah, I knew that as soon as like they came out with the trailers and everything for it, that there was like a hype behind it. I was like, okay, as long as they do the production aspect of it well, it's gonna take off.
It's pretty, yeah. The production's good on their side, because I remember seeing Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was decent.
I loved Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That series,
because it's more darker. This is a darker side of Sabrina.
Yeah, as far as I understand, like the whole Sabrina the Teenage Witch series, that was just through somebody had an idea of making it like, oh, what is the Archie comics, you know, that became its own thing. Yeah, and they kept it to that whole quirky kind of cliche geeky aspect of the Archie comics on that aspect of it. But now they're doing the whole Riverdale, you know, in this.
I never watched Riverdale, so I don't know too much about Riverdale and stuff like that. I never got into that.
Yeah, it's basically the Archie comics, just in a darker, more serious and realistic aspect of it. And so since that had been doing really well, that's where they again branched off with the Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but in that darker, macabre sense that the Riverdale is doing. So I thought it was fascinating, and I'm really intrigued how things are kind of going through this revisit of everything. Yeah,
you gotta watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it though, but we could definitely talk about it once you watch the episodes. I'll definitely chat with you about it. So
definitely, I'll let you know as soon as I watch it. I will let you know, because like also right now lately, since I've been out here, my boyfriend's been trying to get me caught up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is a great show.
It's on Netflix, or is that TV?
It's actually on Hulu.
But
it is actually really good. It's completely like comedy based.
Okay.
but it's really good. Like at first, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is silly. It's kind of stupid, blah, blah, blah. But like now I'm hooked. Like, I'm just like, what's going to happen to Diaz? What's going to happen to this person? What's going on here?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And well, because like I've also been one of those people that like, because being a jack of all trades, master of none,
yeah.
I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, kind of a thing. And being a police officer was one of those things. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine kind of goes in that aspect of being an NYPD. And it's interesting and it's really funny and it's really tasteful because it's not too cheesy while it's still not being too serious. And it's really just, I think it's actually a really good show.
Let's go. How much time do you have still? Because I was gonna say, like, what got you into paranormal? What's your paranormal story? So I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, I just want to make sure. If you want to live stream, I get you. So.
Oh no, actually, I kind of figured I wasn't gonna be able to live stream today because.
Oh, you're still live streaming.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm doing this with you, and this is great. I don't mind doing this. This is fun.
All right, so I guess introduce me, like, so what got you into paranormal? Was it like you saw something and then this got you fascinated about the spiritual realm? So I guess
that's something that's always been really complicated because I think it's just always it's something that started from when I was really young. I was always told that when I was like 3-4 years old, I saw my grandfather as an angel, and I didn't know what that meant when I was really young. I was just like, what do you mean I saw my grandpa as an angel? Because my dad's dad, he passed away before I was born. And he always loved kids. He loved all of his grandkids. He was just one of those really sweet and wonderful grandpas that I never got to know.
Right.
And so when I was like 4-ish, we were in our old house, and my brother was playing his video games, and he said that all of a sudden my eyes just got huge and I just started screaming. And everybody was just like, what's going on, Sarah? What's going on? And I was saying that somebody had broken into the house, and they were like, we're all here. There's nobody in the house. And so my mom asked me what I saw. And when I described him, my mom was just like, that sounds very familiar. Hold on. And she grabbed a picture that she kept in her room, so it wasn't like something that was out in the open.
Yeah.
But she grabbed it and she handed it to me, and she said that I freaked out and that I was like, that's him, that's the guy. And she was like, yeah, sweetie, that's your grandpa. He was just visiting you to say hi.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but no, like I saw him. She's like, yeah, he died. He's in heaven, and you saw him as an angel. And so as I got older and that story kept getting brought up, the more I had questions about it, like, why did I see him? Why did that happen? And then I started noticing that, like, my parents both would treat me a little differently. Like, they were just like, oh, Sarah's special. Sarah can see things. And I'm just like, I really can't. Like, I'm really not special. Like, please stop saying that. And so, like, they would always take me with when they would go visit their friends that were psychics, or they were energy readers, or any kind of like Reiki readers or anything. They would always take me with, and they would be like, oh, this is our special daughter, Sarah. And I'm like, please stop saying that.
Right.
And so, like, my siblings hated me because they were like, oh, Sarah's special. But I hated that. And so, like, I started, like, getting more curious as to, like, the realistic aspect, because I always questioned the whole angels thing.
Right. Those demons, yeah.
Yeah, like, I stopped believing in angels before I stopped believing in Santa. Like, that was something that just, I was just like, people with halos and wings, just because you die, like, no. And so, like, that was where my bullshit radar just was always on point. But when it came to Santa and the Tooth Fairy, it was like, oh no, they are real and do not fuck with me.
Yeah.
So, like, I was just one of those weird kids that, like, paranormal just always seemed to make sense to me. And it's always just something that like I was always curious about, but also like I just felt drawn to. Like I just felt like it was something I was just meant to go explore. And people would always just ask my opinion from as young as I can remember. Like they would just be like, "Hey Sarah, how do you feel about this room? Does this room feel weird to you?" And I would just be like, "No, but that room feels weird to me." They're like, "That room shouldn't feel weird to you." And it's like, "No, that one does feel weird." And then sure enough, like weird things would happen. And they're just like, "Oh my God, this is so weird." So I was
like intuitive and like empathic. You were
yeah. And I think it's just more of like too that I always like to say that like I can see through bullshit.
like,
It's like
those lies.
yeah, because it's like I've noticed when it comes to like spirits and entities and everything, I've always had like this natural intuition of the whole like, oh, something's just not responding to us because they just don't like us, rather than it being like, oh, nothing's responding, nothing's here. Like I would always be able to tell the difference of like, no, there is something here. It just is being stubborn.
Right.
And then like there would be times too where it was like, yeah, no, nothing's here. And people would be like, no, there's something here. Something is happening. And I'm like, you are crazy. You're thinking you're seeing things, but you're not. You need to get out of your house once in a while and get a hobby. So,
I'll go investigate.
yeah. Like for some reason, like it's just always been one of those things. Like I could always just tell just from a real solid gut feeling that anytime whenever I questioned that gut feeling, I always ended up finding out later that I should have followed it.
That you were right.
Yeah. And so it's not like anything of like being a medium or a psychic or anything. I just think that like I just have really good intuition and I have like an empathic ability along with it that kind of keeps me on this line of being able to know what's really going on and what's not. So I feel like it helps me in paranormal research.
And then because of I guess so what was like when was your first I guess paranormal investigating, or did you like jump into a team, and is that how you started?
Yeah, actually, so I don't know if you remember the show Ghost Hunters.
Yes. Is that the ones that are they the ones that are like they're the Christians and stuff like that, or they try to blow up a box that had like spirits and stuff like that? I know there's a show that they've done stuff like that, so I don't know.
I don't think it was that one, but it was Grant and Jason. They were the plumbers.
Maybe.
And they started.
I know a show called Taps, and I guess that they.
Ghost Hunters. Yeah, they ran a group called Taps.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it was all on the East Coast and everything. They were definitely into the whole like scientific research aspect of something being paranormal or not, to where they wouldn't call something haunted unless they had strong evidence to prove that it was haunted.
Right.
And so that got me really into the whole science aspect and chasing places and everything. Like I was just like, I didn't know this was a thing that you could do, and I want to do this. And so my family was just like, yeah, my family was like, well, start your own group, start paranormal investigating. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm not going to just start my own group with zero experience. So I just went on Google and I looked up, Las Vegas paranormal investigating groups. And I found this one group that was called LVPI, and they were currently accepting new groups, and they were TAPS affiliated. So they were legit. They followed all the rules and everything. And I was like, okay, if there's any group for me to be in, this is it. And so I happened to come across it at just like the perfect time. And so I got involved with it and everything. And I had a camcorder that had the Hi8 films, the little film tapes.
Yeah.
Hate those. But yeah, so our first investigation that I got to go on, was this lady's house that she said that her brother had passed away, and or no, it was her uncle that passed away, and her brother was living in the house. He was one that was renting it, and he was claiming that there was a lot of weird things happening in the home. And so she wanted us to go in there and do an investigation to see what we could find, and if we did find anything, to give her tips on how to remove it, if it was her dead uncle or if it was something else. So we were doing this whole thing of like just seeing where, kind of half-ass seeing where the EMF pockets in the house were, because at the time too, it seemed like the group itself was also trying to figure out their system of investigating.
Yeah.
Because it didn't really seem to get refined until I got in and we started refining it together as a team.
Yeah.
So we were kind of figuring out where all these EMF pockets were and everything. And we kind of stayed out of this further bedroom that even like she said that was her room that she does experience things in, but she doesn't stay in that room very often. Like she would only spend the night there if she needed to, because she had her own home. And so we asked the brother, we're like, okay, do you ever spend the night in that room? And he was just like, no, I stay in my room, but I do hear things that go on down the hall in that area. So we were like, okay, let's save that room for last. Let's just kind of debunk everything out here first. And we did find that they had a microwave that was actually leaking microwaves, which I didn't know was a thing either. The things you discover while paranormal investigating is incredible. Like, I didn't know microwaves could leak, and apparently that can actually cause paranoia and hallucinations as well. So it's very dangerous and everything, but it was very interesting to also know that like ovens and refrigerators let off huge EMF fields. So anything that claims that were happening in the kitchen, which supposedly there were a lot of claims of like a lot of sounds would come from the kitchen, like growls, whispers, hums would always come from the kitchen. And so as soon as we found the pockets, we were like, we have to debunk the kitchen because there's just too big of a bubble of EMF. Like it's causing you the paranoia and the hallucinations. Just try to minimize your minimal time in the kitchen, as well as anytime you hear anything from there, just know it's something that's causing,
right?
Yeah, it's causing you to think you're hearing it when there's nothing there. So eventually the woman came back, and we had been investigating for about 3 or 4 hours at that point. We were taking a break. And the founder of the group, I don't know why, but he let the woman take our K2 meter. And she went around the house with it, but pretty much beelined for her room with the meter. And he went in there with her, and it started like blinking and everything. And she was asking all kinds of questions, and she thought that it was asking or answering her. And this was all in Spanish, so I had no idea what was happening. All I know is all of a sudden she comes running out from the hall outside, and she's just hysterically sobbing. And the founder comes out from the hall, and he consoles her for a bit. He has her go outside with another co-investigator.
Yeah.
And he has the K2 meter in his hand, and he was explaining to us what was happening. And then he looked at me, he was like, Sarah, grab your camera. And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, grab your camera. And I'm like, I don't want to, Wally. And he was like, grab your camera, because I'm not going back there by myself. And I was just like, God damn. So my first investigation, I was nervous as hell. Now I was scared. I was like, what's happening? I didn't know this was a thing. And so like I grabbed the camcorder, and we go to the bedroom, and he was showing me about the level that she was holding it. We could see that it was lighting up and everything without us saying or doing anything. So he dropped it lower, and it stopped, and he raised it higher, and it went solid. So we went all around the bedroom and we found this just immense bubble coming from the ceiling that was draping over the bed of this EMF field. And it was a huge, just massive EMF field that was also really, really high in its ratings that can cause like headaches and migraines and heavy hallucinations and everything. And we ended up finding out that her AC unit was right there above her bed on her roof. And so that was what was causing the huge EMF field. And so I was just like, okay, logical explanation. Okay, can I just like, I want to smoke. Can I have a smoke? And at that time, I hadn't picked up smoking again yet, but I wanted one. And
there was a lot of stress, and it was like, it was really tense.
Oh yeah, it was really intense. And
he all in the dark too, like yeah. Those adventures shows and stuff like that. So
yeah, it was all in the dark.
We are two different things. So
yeah. But it was funny though, because he told me, he was like, I'm scared too. That's why I had you go with me, because I didn't want to go there alone. And I was like, fuck you, man. This is my first investigation. You're an ass. But because of the whole like, oh, we found logical explanations for everything that was happening in the house. And to me, like, that just like, that made sense to me as to what paranormal investigating was about, was making logical sense of paranormal things. And if there were paranormal things, like, it's like, holy crap, there's a paranormal thing happening, you know? So that's where I just really just fell in love with it and was just hooked right then and there. And I knew I had to learn as much as I possibly could, which I almost got into learning about exorcisms, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, demonic possessions and all that. I mean, I know it's real. It's parts of me don't want to see that. I guess I don't think I can. It gets crazy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I'm not so much into exorcisms anymore as I am just really, I just really want to have an experience where I investigate a facility or a home or something that has a demon in it. That's what I want.
If Zach didn't destroy it, I bet you would try to go to the demon house.
Dude, okay, so I was working at the museum when it came out, and he had us all go to this little sneak premiere of it.
Instagram, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. But like, as soon as it was over with, he was off to the side. I went up to him and I was just like, dude, why did you tear it down? I would have given anything in the world just to have 5 minutes in there. And he just looked at me and he was like,
crazy.
Did you watch that? And I was just like, yeah, I'm just as crazy as you, man. And he was just like, yeah, you are. I was just like, let's go get a beer now.
Yeah, did you ever get to watch the special that he did?
Oh, the lost footage?
Yeah, you should definitely check it out when you can, and then let me know what you think about it. And, I mean, I watched it, and he's screamed a couple of times.
Yeah, I've been seeing like some of the comments through Twitter about it, and like I saw his response on Twitter about it too. That he's like, well, now you guys know why that place like
got destroyed.
Yeah, why the place got destroyed and why it affected me so much. And I was just like, okay, well, I already want to see it really bad, but now I really want to see it even more. And I feel bad that I missed it, but at the same time, I was hungover. It was not going to happen.
Well, maybe he'll. I don't know. What did you ever get to investigate in that museum with him? Because I know sometimes he does that with certain people and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, no. While I was there, we never got around to doing it because there was always just something happening, something going on, to where like he would set up a day for it and then he would disappear and forget about it, and so he would make plans for that time that he originally said. So like it never really lined up to what worked out for all of us.
Yeah.
But I do know eventually, I think he did eventually let everybody do an investigation there, which I feel bad. I'm like, man, I wanted that.
You were like, I wanted to go, and I can't.
Yeah.
Never know. Well, it's not too late for you because you got good connections with him, which is a good thing. So I was gonna say the day that he showed the Demon House on TV, apparently in his museum, like I think where the stairs was, something has to do with something like leaked and stuff like that. But then on top it was like dry, so I guess it was weird. I guess a lot of different charges or energies was happening.
Yeah, there was, I guess, a flooding or a surprise flooding in the building that the lost footage was supposed to release.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it is always weird. It's always weird whenever there's a flooding or there's some kind of like backup or something like water-wise in that building. It kind of makes sense because it is an old area. It's an old neighborhood.
It could be
Just any remotely old neighborhood in Vegas has terrible piping, so it makes sense. But also at the same time, the timing of it in that building is a little too weird to call just coincidental.
Yeah,
it's always just been very weird timing when it does happen there. So it's, I don't know, it's something that I even noticed was just like, really, why now of all times?
I also thought it was crazy. He had Annabelle and he touched Annabelle, and it was like, man, why you be touching that doll, man? Like, leave her alone.
Oh yeah, during the Halloween special,
crazy. I like watching it. So. Yeah,
the Halloween special this past year, Stacia, my old coworker, she got to hold her.
Yeah, that was I don't know, it was a crazy live thing he did.
Yeah, which I'm like, I'm happy for her that she got to hold. Or no, she didn't get to hold Annabelle. She got to hold Peggy. Yeah, she. Yeah, I'm happy for Stacia that she got to hold Peggy because Stacia absolutely adores Peggy. Like, she's always had like this weird fonding over Peggy. And so like when I saw that, I was like, oh, Stacia finally got to hold Peggy. Good for her. But also at the same time, I'm like, that's a demonically possessed doll. Nobody should ever be touching that freaking doll. Like,
yeah, that's like well, Jack held Robert too, Robert the doll, which is in Florida. He's crazy.
Oh my God. Like, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I would love to meet Robert the doll. But also at the same time, like,
Keep talking.
I have a huge amount of respect for that doll.
I have a little replica one.
Oh my God!
I just ordered it. I never been to the museum or anything, but I just wanted to show you.
Oh, you should go. You should go. You should. I'm surprised you haven't been.
No, not yet. It's a far drive. I want to go with someone who wants to go too. So
yeah. Well, Florida's huge, so I'm sure it's like if you want to get anywhere, you gotta like plan ahead.
Yeah, it's 7 hours.
Yeah. Oh God.
From where I am, it's 7 hours. Imagine you have to like fly it, and then you still got to drive all the way down. So.
Oh yeah. Like for me, like I love Carson City and Reno, and they're much older than Vegas, but that's an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
And it's like Goldfield actually is only a 3-hour drive though.
Oh, that's not too bad. I know they done a lot of filming over there too. It's kind of like, I guess, like a West type of thing. Like, kind of like almost feels like a Western, like old buildings like that.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like when you're there, it doesn't necessarily feel Old West. It feels definitely kind of like a mixture between Old West and Victorian. It's very like almost a more elegant Old West side. Especially what bit of history is still there that you can see and everything. You can definitely tell that there was a bit of a class to it. Whereas if you go to like the OK Corral, that's definitely very Western. But yeah, I would love to go there. I would love to go to Virginia City as well. Virginia City is just known as like an entirely haunted town in Nevada. Jerome, Arizona is another place too, though, that I've been dying to go to.
Isn't that where the Stanley Hotel is? Oh no.
No, that's in Colorado.
Colorado, okay.
Yeah. Jerome has the Jerome Grand Hotel that used to be a hospital.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go there so bad.
Oh, your little bucket list. I tell you, you need to start a team. I know usually making teams and so like it costs a lot of money and stuff like that. Then you got equipment.
I do actually have a team in Vegas. It's just we haven't had any meetings since I think it's been since like July, because every time whenever I kept asking the group, because we had a group chat on Facebook,
Right.
I would ask them like, hey, I need everybody's schedules. I need your availabilities so we can set up the next meeting, and also so we can set up our investigation, because we had potential locations for investigation coming up. And I kept telling everybody, I need your availabilities. Send me your availabilities. I would get one response.
Oh.
And it was always like my friend Kari or my friend Emmy. And I'm like, girl, I know your schedule. I know your blood type. Like, fuck off. I don't need that. I need these other people's availability. And no one would respond. And I'm just like, I can't run this. I can't have this if you're not going to tell me when you're available. And so I just kind of gave up, because it became literally like an uphill battle. Like I was messaging like at least once a day for 2 weeks and no one was responding. So I gave up, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try again next year, because right now I got too much going on, because my mom was sick at that time. Yeah. And then the holidays hit, and I was just like, I don't care to worry about that right now. So this year I'm going to get back into worrying about it, but I don't know how successful we're going to be at it.
Yeah, because it sounds like there wasn't people that are committed to it. Like people that are actually committed, like, hey, I'm going to give you this schedule, this is what I could do. You just need people who want to do it. That's the thing. So in the beginning, it sounded like in the beginning when you were building up your team, there were people that wanted to do it, but just never fell through it. They just think in a way.
And that's actually a big problem in Vegas, is that just Vegas itself is just loaded with people who are just very flaky, and it sucks, because like trying to get things together it's hard, especially with a group that's nonprofit. You know, it's like we're doing this all for free, and we're doing this all as a group together, so we're all investing in this together with our own money, and nobody wants to just like really truly commit, and it's really frustrating.
You should try to make them sign contracts in a way, like, hey, like this is your committed paper, like this is what I need from you. Like if you really want to do this, these are the things that we got to do. Maybe that's what you need to do, make contracts for people.
I think so too. I was trying to avoid that, because it's like I didn't want people to be like, I thought this was just like a hobby, you know? Yeah. I didn't want it to be like too hardcore right off the bat, but now at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I think I need it to be hardcore right off the bat.
Yeah, you might need to do the contract. So then you have committed people that are actually like, hey, we're going to do this together.
Yeah.
And, like flake out, like you said.
Yeah.
I think there's flaky people everywhere, though. I think it's not just Vegas. I mean, probably Florida, too. Maybe everywhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's flaky people everywhere, but like Vegas is known for people to flake, especially last minute. Like, it's pretty bad.
So you gave it up because no one was committing. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully this year you get definitely something that'll work out better for you.
Yeah,
that'd be cool too if you get to live stream those things if you can. Because that'll be.
Yeah, because that's also why I started the group, so that way we could all like get like a Patreon together. We could start working towards like doing live stream investigations, all that stuff, and like that was something I really wanted to do as a group, but like I said, nobody wanted to commit enough, and it was like I was the only one working for it, and it was getting to be a headache.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So you got a lot of a few goals. I guess I was gonna say, like, what's been the number one thing that's been really inspiring or driving what your goals and your passions? Like, what you've been thinking lately? I guess that's reasonable question. Like, what's inspiring you right now, and what I guess what do you where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
And well, honestly, what's been inspiring me lately has just been like, it's weird to say, but it's literally come down to like, I've just been tired of my life being like this, like more of a downslope of a roller coaster than anything. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of like almost this self-motivation thing that I've gotten into lately, like especially through quitting smoking. I got to this point where my mindset changed, and like
Like, you see clearer. You see clearer now. Like more like was it like you're in a way your mind was cloudy and it's a lot clearer now. Like
yeah, it's like yeah, it's very much like my thoughts are definitely clearer, and it's like also like my mindset is just a lot more positive now, which is the weirdest thing of all. Like I'm so used to my mind being just like you're worthless, you don't deserve this, blah blah blah.
And you also have a good relationship, and you have a guy that's very sounds like loving and encouraging and
yeah.
supports you. And I bet you that builds up confidence like in yourself. It was like, oh, I actually have self-worth and stuff like that. So that's really good. See, it has effects of different things and stuff.
Yeah, it's been like the weirdest thing because it's almost like
Happy Sarah.
yeah, happy Sarah. What's going on? What is this life? I don't know what's happening. And it's like it's like I do still, of course, you know, I still have these bouts of depression every now and then, but it's definitely not in the same way that it once was. It's like that's even changed to where like I'll sit there and I'll just let myself kind of sulk. I'll have a good cry, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm just like, okay, I'm good. I'm recharged, and it's just like, who am I? Like
that's good because you're finally like you're getting it out. You're releasing the way you're feeling, and you and me, like I mean, a lot of like humanity is that way. Like we need to be able. I just got leg cramp.
oh no.
I'm getting old. No, I'll be all right. What I was gonna say before my leg cramp. Oh, it's like you're pretty much you're able to express yourself. You're able to share your, like even YouTube. I know you sometimes you just share what's on your mind, and that's the great thing about these platforms. The thing is that we're able to open up. We're able to share our stories, share who we are, and because you're no longer keeping all those emotions inside, you're laying it out. It's saying you more free to be who you are now, and now you get started to move forward and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Like just a storytelling that's more cathartic just in itself than going to like, you know, like writing it in a journal or something, which I mean, it's still in a sense cathartic, but it's so much different saying it to an audience.
Yeah, it's easier because I also journal too. I don't do it as much, but for me, like for me, YouTube has been a great thing for me because I mean, it could be also a negative because you could spend a lot of time on YouTube and then that's not a good thing because then you're not becoming productive.
Moderation.
Yeah, I'm learning that. But like the fact that I use YouTube and I can express the way I feel and share my feelings to people, either it could be positive or negative. It depends. I mean, most times people have said positive things or have liked my videos or whatever, but it's a way for me to express myself. So I've become more open. I've been more honest. I've been more transparent. So
yeah,
it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's definitely become something of like, you kind of also realize like not necessarily your own fault, but it's like you hear yourself talk about a situation or you hear yourself talk about your own emotions as you're expressing it, and it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense to feel this way because you're a human and it's okay. And it's like, yeah, you're having a bad day, everybody gets those. And it's like you feel that as you're saying it, and it's like, oh wow, like this is good, this is,
it's like your own self-therapy in a way.
Yeah, and it's weird, but it's also just like really nice now that it's like my mental health has done this weird flip where it's like I'm having to relearn myself, right, just because I'm not used to this like non-self-deprecating version of myself. And so it's nice and it's great. But also at the same time, it's like I'm trying to also not lose. Yeah, it's also like I'm trying to also not lose a part of myself that I do love, which is that self-deprecating Sarah, because I do a lot of like I love comedy. I just absolutely love comedy, and that's
I want to hear your stuff, girl.
I actually I do want to record doing a stand-up one of these days. I gotta find an open mic night and do a stand-up again and see if I can get that filmed. And hopefully it's not terrible.
No.
But yeah, because like
I love your sense of humor and stuff like that. I enjoy it. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I feel like I get a lot of that sense of humor because of the whole like we all experience depression. We all experience that downside.
Right.
And so it's like I like to use that as kind of like a character, sense of humor and everything. So that's yeah.
I want to see more of Edna too. I think it'll be fun. It's gonna be funny for sure.
It's hilarious because Edna got more things for Christmas this year than I did. I'm so serious. Like I opened up these presents from my sister-in-law and my brother and my other sister-in-law, my oldest brother. And I opened one and it was like these like couch button earrings and like this big old flashy necklace. And I was just like, this isn't me. This looks more like for Edna. And they were like, oh yeah, we got that for Edna. Isn't that great? And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's great. That's perfect. Like I need more jewelry for her. And then I opened up the other one and it was a scarf and it was colorful and it had little candy canes on it for Christmas because I mentioned that I didn't have a scarf for Edna. And they were like, oh yeah, we got you that scarf for Edna. And I was just like, oh my God.
They're helping you out, set it up.
And then my oldest, she just kind of put together a present for me with my mom's help. And when I opened it, it was this like pastel pink necklace that had like a glasses ring holder on the bottom of it. And I was like, Nani, this is for older people. And she was like, yeah, I got that for Edna, Mommy.
Oh no.
I was just like, I mean, I got a new apron to paint with, but
that's a start. So now we have to have two different lists, one for Edna and one for me, okay?
Yeah, right?
They're gonna like spoil Edna, not you. It's like
oh, I know, especially when it comes to my sister-in-laws because they love Edna, but my brothers hate her. My brothers, oh my God. Like we went to this whole like little Christmas thing and I got all sorts of tacky. I'll see if I can actually find a picture here for you. But I got all sorts of tacky with Edna for this little Christmas get together with my family. And my oldest brother kept calling me like Sally Jesse Raphael and like all this other stuff. It was the worst, but it was also like the best because I love watching my brothers squirm. Let me see here. It should be, yes. Okay, I'm on the right page. Because my brother actually has 2 Facebook pages because he's a troll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a giant child. Like, I love him, but I also can't stand him. Let's see, where is it?
You're good. It's pouring right now in Florida. We're getting over here.
It's not just... There you go. Where is it, Joshua? Here we go. Okay. I found him. So let me see. Let me get the good picture of Edna. Oh, come on. No, don't glitch on me.
Hey, at least we figured out my mic problem.
Yeah, right?
Oh, wow. I love it. That's awesome.
I was all sorts of decked out. It was terrible and awesome all at the same time. It was so much fun though, because we got to do this train ride, and my family went ahead of me, and so they all got into a car and there was no room for me to fit in. So I was like, oh, I see how it is. Y'all just leave me out here to fend for myself. And so the staff comes up to me and they're just like, oh no, ma'am, there's a spot over here. We can get you in here. And they physically assisted me.
That's awesome.
Into the car. And then they were like, yeah, if you need a step ladder for when we get out, just let us know. We'll get that for you. I was like, oh, aren't you just a sweet doll? Thank you so much. And I told my mom later, I told her, I was like, they thought I was a real old lady and they assisted me and everything. And my mom was just like, they didn't help me.
Oh man.
It was great. It was just wonderfully awful and the best time of my life. I love doing Edna.
So how's your painting going along, or been coming along?
My pain, or
your paintings, and yeah. How's your pain? How's your ribs? Are they better? Are they feeling?
They still hurt in the mornings, but like after about like the first hour, they get better. But paintings have been on a halt just because I had to work on a painting for my next door neighbor as a thank you gift, because she's been like just dropping off food for us because she just cooks like a mad woman, and she just cooks the most amazing food, and she's been so sweet to share with us.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I did a painting for her.
Oh yeah, that's really good. That's really cool.
Thank y'all.
I love it. You're really good.
Thank you.
You really are good. Like, I hope you know that in your head and your mind. Like, you are really talented. I can't even talk English, but you're really talented.
Thank you. It's weird too, because like ever since I started painting too, it's the one thing that like I do that each time I finish something, I'll stop and I'll stare at it, and I'm just like, shit, I did that. Like, I actually don't like critique it. Like, I actually just like, I did that. Like, I like that, and I'm shocked that I made that. And it's the one thing that like I've not been mean to myself at all with, which is something I normally do.
Looking at it. I realized like I don't know if you felt this too. Like, as I'm getting older too, like I've been craving more to be outside and walking, and I'm trying to also practice meditation.
Yes.
And stuff like that, and I'm definitely gonna try to plan to go to the beach, because I haven't gone to the beach for 4 years. You know how that's a long time.
That is a long time.
2 years. I was in Georgia, so I never really did any beach thing. And then since I came back to Florida, like pretty much last year, I didn't do anything, and so I'm definitely gonna make sure this year I'm gonna go out and do that, because I love being at the beach. Like, yeah. I don't know. Like, I can't explain it, but something about like this enjoying like nature and everything you see. Like, I guess God's creation, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just drawn to it a lot. I can't explain that to you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, definitely. It's almost like a whole nother like recharge in yourself when you go to the beach. Like, something about the water, the sound, the smell, everything about it is just like you feel more alive in that moment.
Exactly. And I think because we spent, or I mean, you work too, but like, even like, because I do so much working, I never like really just like chill or like go outside and just enjoy it, or be in the present, in the present moment, because we're always people of always doing. We never like just stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I definitely, especially living in Las Vegas, everything is very go, 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 do, and then crash and burn. And I'm realizing now just how much of a fast-paced city Vegas is, because being out, finally getting outside of Vegas and Nevada and, the typical like California, Nevada, Arizona kind of area that I've been bound to.
Right.
I'm going up north and going to like a really big city like Seattle. It's huge.
Oh yeah, it's super big.
Yeah, it's like it takes you 2 hours to get from one end of town to the other, you know, and that's on a good traffic day. And it's like, it blows my mind that it's like, it's such a big area and everything, and yet it's not as much of a go city as Vegas is. Vegas is so much smaller. It's so much more condensed, and yet it's always just like, you know, get your shit and go.
Right.
And it's just like, now I'm confused. I'm like, no, Seattle should be that way, and Vegas should be like a chill, like, we got all day, man. We got 15 minutes because of the freeway. You know, you can go from point A to point B in 15 minutes or less. It's the freeway. That's what it's there for. And that's the running joke in Vegas. 15 minutes on the freeway. And that's like a slap in the face here. Because it's like, it takes you 15 minutes to get you out of the neighborhood. I'm
glad you've been enjoying it over there. You've been like, kind of like would you say more of a vacation for you? More like relaxation, you get to chill and relax and
yeah, actually it's been weird. Like this being my second time out here, and I've been out here for almost 2 weeks now. I love it, but it's also like, I feel like I'm meant to be here, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
It feels like home. It feels like this.
I'm gonna ask you if it feels like home for you. You already answered me, so.
Yeah, yeah. It just makes sense to me to be here, and it doesn't feel like, the first time I came here, it was almost like I was in a daydream, because I didn't feel like I was in someplace new. I felt like I was where I've been before and where I should be.
Right.
It was so weird that first time being here and feeling that way, because like normally when you go someplace new, you have that kind of like almost like a childlike like awe of a place. So like,
I wanted to move right away to Tennessee when I saw the mountains and the rivers. It was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah. I didn't have that when I came here. Like it was almost like, yeah. Yeah, Sarah, this is it. This is what you've been asking for. This is what you've been wanting. And here it is. Like,
I'm sure
enjoy.
Let's keep staying positive. You never know. You'll probably end up moving. I gotta see you in Vegas before you move. You do.
Oh, I know. No, definitely. No, I won't. If I do end up moving out here, it definitely won't be anytime right away, of course, because like, he's got a lot that he's got to get together and everything, and I have a lot I got to get together, and so it's like
on time.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we have talked about and everything, and something we do want to do eventually, but we're not gonna. We're still gonna be very mature about it, obviously. So it's like we're not gonna jump in without thinking. So.
I kind of jumped in something real fast.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We both have kind of like had that conversation of like, we want to, but we know we also can't. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But that'll be exciting. It'll be exciting once you get to that point. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear your story, see where it goes to. I was gonna say, I did like one of my goals. I guess we'll go back to goals. Sorry, I know we're like everywhere, but
that's all right.
One of the things I was trying to, because I ended up calling John Kim actually, because he posted on Instagram like, hey, I'm gonna do a 30-minute session. You know, email me. So I emailed him thinking like, it's probably gonna be sold out or someone's already done it. And then he emails me back and saying like, hey, I got time. Just give me your number. And I had to like obviously pay for it because nothing's really free in life. Especially like it's like he's helping me, but it's more like a session, like a therapy session in a way. It wasn't too bad. But he challenged me about 3 things. He challenged me on. Sorry, I just lost my thought. Oh, he challenged me like, you know, finding a better job. So that's something today I started doing. I started applying to different places. Really. nothing's wrong with McDonald's, but there's no future there. And someone I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned that like you need to do stuff that there's a future. Like for you, like doing something that you know there's like a dead end, it's like pretty much killing you. And that's what I realized too. Like I have seen a lot of miserable people in this different work environments, and they're unhappy and they're miserable. And it made me think is like I don't want to end up being like that. Not
exactly. Yeah. Always get yourself in a position where you can grow and you can see yourself growing with. If you can't, then find something else.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I definitely know counseling. Like, I really, really feel strongly in counseling, life coaching, because I love people. I want to help people. I always been that type of. That's who I am. I can't explain that.
No, you have a very natural care for people, and that's a beautiful thing about you, Manny.
So thank you. So one thing he challenged me was, to do that. He wants me. He thinks I should reconnect with the retreat I went to. We'll just call it a retreat, a life coaching retreat. They want me to go back and play and sing and stuff like that. And they weren't going to charge me. It was like $500, which is a lot. I know, but they want me to come back and play and stuff. I just haven't really contacted them yet. I need to do that. That's one thing I need to do. I went to a local I went to a local church where I have connections with, and seeing I could just get into like the career counseling program, so I could learn the tools what I need to learn to becoming a better counselor. And who knows, I might end up getting a job there. It's possible. So
that would be awesome for you, Manny.
I have an interview actually on Monday, which I'm a little nervous because it's like 30 minutes with him. He's like the head of the counseling program. So I mean, I'm gonna be myself, but he might ask like, "Oh, like tell me about your divorce," like stuff like that. I don't know really what to say except I guess just be myself pretty much.
Yeah, just be yourself, but also just be very confident. Just know that whatever they're gonna throw at you, just answer it in a very confident way, and answer it in a very like, I can take on anything you throw at me. Like the jobs that I've had literally handed to me just because of talking to a manager, not even applying, not even asking for an interview. I just straight up talked to a manager and they're like, well, would you be interested in working here? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I didn't know you were hiring. And they're like, well, can you handle a high stress environment? I'm like, yes, I can absolutely handle a high stress environment. I actually dispatched for a CES convention. And they're just like, oh, okay, well, go apply because you got the job. And I'm just like, I what? And like, it just, you got to just be confident in what you say and just know you can handle it. And just know that like, if they say anything that could be challenging or anything, just be honest in the sense of like, in that way of like, just, I can handle it. I know I can adapt to anything that comes in my way. And if there's anything that I have any issues or anything with, I am confident to say that I know how to ask for help when it is needed. I'm not going to try to handle anything on my own that I know I shouldn't. And, things like that.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's like, just go in there just as yourself, but just extra confident, just extra up there in the, I got this.
I was gonna ask you, is there anything you want to ask me about? Anything you want to know more about myself too? I don't mind turning on me too.
I've always been curious to ask you, what got you into paranormal stuff?
Okay, so all right, let me think. Sorry, I'm trying to process this real fast. Okay, so I guess it started when I was 5. So my whole thing with this was when I was like obviously younger. I used to get night terrors. This was back in New Jersey because I was born in New Jersey. I moved down here in Florida since I'm around 12. So I used to, I don't know, I used to think that the basement used to be evil. I used to felt evil for some reason. I used to, that's not, I don't know. It was either that I was scared when I was younger, but I obviously I can't remember that memory of that. I do have that memory, but something that was really crazy. I was on tribe because besides getting the night terrors and I used to get dreams that people was trying to kill me or something was trying to kill me. And then one time I overcame, like, this is a crazy story. I think this was in Florida though. I had a dream that I think it was Michael Myers was trying to kill me. And in my dream, I made him a friend. We became friends. I somehow, somehow in my dream, I mean, like I don't know what I did.
That is fucking awesome.
Holy shit. I remember being friends or having him as a friend. I know.
That's awesome.
I do remember that dream. But anyway, like well, also sorry. My mom used to say like also like she used to see aberrations and stuff like that in that house. So my mom used to see it. My grandpa used to see it. It was all in the basement too. Well, I think that whole house was haunted in a way. Not like anything demonic or anything. I mean, it was an old house that still had the horses where you tie them. Yeah, it's like a 100-year-old house. I mean, people live there still now. You probably would love to go and investigate.
Oh, that hurts my heart. I want that so bad.
Well, see, I was young though, so I didn't know nothing. But anyway, I found out that someone hung themselves in that basement. So the thing that I was feeling evil or just felt like something wrong, something negative, it was that. I didn't know that until my grandfather at the time, you know, when he shared it to us, which was kind of like interesting because it was like, wow, if I felt that then okay, so not too long ago, almost 2 years ago. Oh yeah, now almost about 2 years ago, I started practicing like meditation and like the crystals. I was really trying to just discover myself in a way, like in a good way and like not bad way. Started using like even the pendulum. I still have the pendulum. Let's see, where is my pendulum? I can't find it. Anyway, I have a little pendulum that I use sometimes once in a while. But so one day I was like on YouTube, like obviously surfing it and like looking at mediums and like third eye and all this. And I discovered about spirit guides. And then so one of the mediums, or I forget who she was, but she was saying like, you know, if you want to know who your spirit guides and stuff like that, you know, try to communicate. So one day I did that. I said like, you know, whoever is my spirit guide, you know, like come and stuff like that. I kid you not, it was either that day or that night or the next night. I remember waking up and seeing this African man smiling at me in my bedroom, and I freaked out.
Wow.
The same room. I saw it was like he was like over here, and I don't know. It freaked me.
Wow.
I didn't know what I said like, oh crap! And I just started praying because I didn't know what I did.
Yeah. Well, also just seeing a man in your room looking at you in bed smiling is like.
I remember it clearly, and ever since that, like it's drawn me more into like wanting to discover more of the paranormal side, and also knowing that I'm very sensitive to people's energies and stuff like that. Even going through my whole marriage and stuff like that, like you know when she was bad, like I became that way because I'm also an empath. So it makes sense though that I'm very sensitive to these things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So ever since that, I mean, I'm still once in a while I'm doing the videos and stuff like that. I'm just really trying to get some communication. So yeah, that's why I've been drawn to like going to cemeteries and using the spirit box. I don't know if you would ever. I mean, I have used the spirit box in my room a few times in my house, but nothing's bad ever has happened or anything like that. And trying the EMF meter too. I think one time I could have sworn, like I can't remember. I was trying to do a live stream on it. I saw like I was trying to ask questions, you know, to see if I could get any, you know, how the readings are on that. So, like, I saw it one day go on its own, but I'm not sure because I do have a lot of electronic stuff too in my room. It could have been that. It could have been the phone. It could have been because you like you're saying, there's a lot of the electric field, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sure if that was something that there was something that was here and wanted to communicate, or it was nothing. So. And one time I got really excited. I heard my name being called down the spirit box, and that got me excited because they said my name, Manny. And I was like, oh.
That is awesome.
I don't know. I mean, do you get scared of those things, using a spirit box and stuff like that, or not really?
Ouija boards, a bit, only because they're such an old tool that I don't even know if the way that I know how to close the doors on those is really a proper way of closing the doors.
I bought one time, a Stranger Things one. I tried using it in the park, but I never got anything. But I was also by myself, so it's like, it doesn't work. So I just got my money back. I said, this isn't going to work.
Well, like I get just nervous with those because like I've gone to so many home investigations that happened because like they had a child that was experimenting with the occult and got in a Ouija board and they just didn't know what they were doing. And so it was like it's not necessarily a fear, it's more so like a resentment towards Ouija boards because it's always like I have to clean up after their mess. But even then, like I wouldn't mess with an Ouija board just because on that basis that I don't necessarily know how to work them.
Yeah.
And or I feel like I don't know how to work them properly. Of course, you know, I know the basics of like, you know, you close the door after a summoning or a ritual or anything. And but when it comes to like other tools and everything, like I find it really fascinating and really cool of all the different gadgets that are coming out for paranormal investigating. And I think it's all really just really cool and useful to find these different things that work at different levels for paranormal investigating. But honestly, the tools that I love the most are the old school, like film cameras, tape recorders.
Gotcha.
Like, I feel like those are the
best. What about dowsing rods? I heard about dowsing rods are supposed to be accurate.
Dowsing rods, yeah, they can be, but the problem is too is if you don't know that you're standing above water, that's when they can cross, and you might think that's what they're originally for. Is they find water underground. So if you don't know that there's water underneath you and they cross, you could think you're having a paranormal experience. So that's why I just personally don't use dowsing rods, but because I don't feel like I know enough about the land around me. So it's like I just don't even bother with those. But yeah, I mean, if I were to put in the research to know where all of the pipings and any underground water movement or anything, then yeah, I would. But I don't find geometry and the earth and ground and stuff that fascinating. So
fascinating.
So it's like I'm good. I don't need to use dowsing rods. I'm good with like just, you know, old school equipment, and also using white noise I find a lot of fun.
You think the apps are actually accurate, like the Ghost app and Ghost Ray? That's what I started when I got really curious about like really trying to communicate. I started looking at the apps. I had this one app. It was who was it? It was like Keith something. He's supposed to be a paranormal investigator, and he like develops these IT stuff. I forget.
Oh, nice. So, I just don't trust anything. I'm such a skeptic to the point where I just don't trust anything that I feel like could be at all corrupted in any sort of way. So like even through like cell phone apps,
it's tricky because if that's electronic and that's supposed to be electric fields and stuff, wouldn't that be pulling it from the phone itself too?
It could. The problem though with when it comes to like a lot of these ghost finding apps too, is that the phones themselves are not actually made to have any kind of a radar system on them. They're not made to have like the same technology that an EMF meter has. So when it comes to like the ghost hunting apps that there are, to me, it doesn't make sense how they claim to work the way that they do. So to me, they're more novelty. Yeah. And I refuse to even download an audio recording app that has anything to do with ghosts on its name. If it says ghost recording voice app, and it's like, nope, I'm just like, I stay away from it all because I never know if they program some kind of like whispers to come in at random intervals.
Yeah. We don't know. I guess we don't know. You know, I love if you ever get the chance, maybe you and your boyfriend could St. Augustine. That's a place I want to go back to. Because I'm just drawn to St. Augustine. I love it. I mean, I love the way it is and everything like that. But now that I have more history and understanding, like the fort's pretty cool. I went to the lighthouse. That was another spot. I want to go back because I want to do the Release Believe It or Not ghost tour because I know they do that at night and you get they take you a tour to the cemeteries and stuff like that. I think it'd be really fun. But I like those things. I mean, some people would think it's satanic or demonic, but
everybody's always got to attach everything to some kind of devil worship.
Yeah, but I don't know. I find those things fascinating. I mean, I definitely want to eventually go to Key West. One of my favorite YouTubers too, Omar. I got to meet Omar not too long ago.
Oh yeah, I saw your post on that. That was cool.
He met Robert, and apparently he didn't ask permission for Robert's picture, and apparently he has a replica just like mine. I think that's why I wanted to get one too. But anyway, he got one, and apparently it was cursed and all this. So because apparently the story is like if you go to the museum, you gotta make sure you ask permission. I mean, in a way, it's like you just gotta respect. I mean, I respect the dead, I respect spirits, so it's not like. But I guess there's a lot of stories where people have not asked permission, and then a lot of bad and negative things happen right after. So it makes you wonder, like, okay, if these stories are true, then this is like a really haunted object. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of times people think it's fake or non-believable and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know with Robert the doll, like you're supposed to ask for his permission, and if you see him give a movement, then that's how you know he gave you permission. And if you don't see him move, then you're not supposed to take his picture. And my whole thing is like knowing me, knowing me, I'd probably go up there and be like, okay, listen, Robert, I'll respect you, but you gotta respect me.
Right.
I'm not here for fucking games.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me permission. You're giving me permission.
Right.
And you weren't gonna do shit. like I would have just been like complete like throwdown with him.
Yeah.
Just cause, like I'm definitely one of those like absolute no bullshit kind of people where it's just like any investigation, anything, I'm just like, I don't have to ask your permission. You need my permission.
I was gonna say that's one thing I love about you, that you're not a clickbaiter. Is I mean I love Omar too, but sometimes he's a little bit of clickbaiter just for views. I mean I understand views is what eventually makes you money and stuff like that, which is fine. I get you, but just be authentic. Just be real. Like, hey, if this is like, even like you said, even paranormal investigating, you're like Zach says all the time, it's like hours and hours and hours of time, and like you don't want to. You want to be authentic and you want to be transparent. You don't want to be fake about the stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes TV world, it gets dramatic and all that, and even YouTubers do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this can be a form of entertainment, but at least just be real with your audience. Be real, because if you're real with us, then we're gonna be, the same with you, and we're gonna be more supportive of you. This is the fact that you're not fake and you're not a clickbaiter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like especially when the whole...
You get annoyed when YouTubers are a lot of clickbaiters in their videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
normal stuff and like I won't say his name because but sometimes I've seen videos where they're like, did you hear that? And then like nothing, but we don't hear the audio, but they're like hearing stuff, and it's like, oh no, man.
Yeah, and when I see that too, I'm like, okay, if you hear something, explain what you heard. Like, obviously, it may not have picked up on your camera or whatever it is that you're recording with. Explain what you're hearing. Explain where you heard it, and then give some silence. See if you hear it again. Go towards the noise if that's your whole point of an investigation. Don't just sit there and be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm freaking out. I want to go. I don't know. It's like, you're out there for that reason. Why are you freaking out? Like, just go.
You've been really passionate about your BuzzFeed and stuff.
Oh my God, the BuzzFeed Unsolved, man. It drives me crazy.
Yes, you need to do more of those. See, I actually like when you did those videos. I like them because because you are such a paranormal investigator. You know the truth, and then when you see these people doing it, it's like, you're doing it all wrong, man. Like, let me help you.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, here, you don't know what you're doing, but I do, so let me help you. And they're just like, oh no, we got this. We saw a compilation video. It's like,
they're probably clickbaiters too.
Oh, they are such bad clickbaiters, and it just the whole thing just drives me crazy, because it's like they take a field of something that other people are like professionals in, and then they make it their own and make a series out of it, like Worth It as well. Like, there are professional food bloggers and foodies and just taste testers out there, they are professionals. They know what they're doing. They know what they're looking for as far as flavor and quality and all that stuff. And then they just throw these two random guys that just like food. And they're like, hey, go on an adventure, make a series out of it. Here's a budget.
I was gonna say, like, lately I was watching a lot of this is Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson.
Oh, Shane Dawson's old ghost hunting videos.
Yeah, I was watching the other maybe a week or two. I was watching when he did the Queen Mary. I would love to visit the Queen Mary. I think it'd be a really interesting place.
I was pissed. I was so pissed.
Wait, why?
You guys are on the fucking Queen Mary and you're making like clowns of yourselves.
Oh yeah, they did a lot of stupid stuff.
They were just like not taking any of it seriously. Like, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but Mikey from Glam and Gore, she actually went on there. And you should see her thing. She did a whole series for Halloween of going to the actual haunted locations and doing a makeup look in some of the most haunted areas or rooms of these haunted places. Huh. And she was on the Queen Mary and everything. And like, I think she did it really well as far as like majority of the places that she went to. However, she did actually go to Jerome, Arizona, but she did not go into the Jerome Grand Hotel.
Oh, wow.
She went on just like a public street. And I was just like, go into the hotel. 3rd floor. That's where you need to be. And she just wouldn't. I was so mad. Oh, I was so mad. But yeah, no, she did great on all the others. And it was really fascinating. And I do reach out to all these YouTubers too of like, hey, if you want a real paranormal experience, I am a paranormal investigator. I've been one for 10 years. You know, just contact me back and we'll set something up. I'll come to you or you can come to me and we'll do something. And I never hear back from them because I'm such a small channel. Yeah, I'm such a small channel that nobody ever responds back to me. So like I've messaged Shane Dawson, I've messaged Graveyard Girl. I've even left a comment on Mikey of Glam and Gores during her whole thing. I've left comment on BuzzFeeds and like all these others. Like I've just left comments or sent them messages or whatnot of like, hey, I will give you a real ghost hunt. I will give you the real experience. Please message me back. And I just never hear from them.
One day maybe we'll, hopefully. Or like, is it like once you get your team, then people are like, I bet you people will reach out more to you once you have things going like that.
I would hope so. That's the goal is, you know, to just get a good system going to where too I can just like educate the masses on real paranormal investigating and not TV paranormal investigating. So
when am I gonna get your shirt?
You know, it's funny. I told my mom that like you guys are wanting merch from me now, and she's like, "Well, you have Ed." Because I have a friend who does graphic designs and he prints his own stuff in his home.
Oh, really?
And I'm just like, I mean, I could. I feel really bad bugging him. But at the same time, it's like, maybe he would actually have fun in doing that with me. I don't know.
He probably would. Just us, I guess, more or less. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. I'll have to bug him about it because, like, yeah, like I said, he does all the shirt pressings and everything at his home. And if I just like give him a percentage of what I make with the shirts and everything, then I'm sure he would be more than willing to want to do that with me. Yeah, because like I mean he's a hard worker and he's really good at what he does. He's amazing. But yeah, he needs to post more on Instagram. I would totally plug him wherever I go, but he's just not an active social media person. I think his last post was probably from like 2 years ago, which is before when I met him. So it's like, dude, update.
He probably said, I'm busy. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of stuff.
But yeah, I'm thinking of doing like, you know, like hashtag Team Sarah shirts. And
what would you do for a design? Or what are you thinking in your head what you would do? Like, would you do like your face or like a symbol of like what represents you? Like, have you thought more into that or not yet?
I've been wanting to create my own logo of like a yin yang with an S through it, since the yin yang symbol kind of has that S in it.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of actually how I sign my paintings. I don't know if you saw on the back of yours.
I see that.
Yeah, so it's like I use that already, but it's just a matter of like turning that into an actual logo is kind of like a whole different ball game. So I don't know if I would be able to, but at the same time, I kind of want to find out.
That's, there you go. There's a goal. I challenge you.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's definitely going to be a trial and error, but at the same time, I'm actually like, I'm really considering it because it would be a lot of fun to make shirts. It would be so much fun. I actually had a dream last night. Okay.
Oh.
Totally random. I had a dream last night that I was recognized in public for the first time, and it was by these little kids. And I was just like, I cuss a lot, and I talk a lot about ghost stories too. So I'm like, I woke up and I was like, God, I hope the first time I'm recognized is not by little kids. Because that would be so traumatizing for me. I'd be like, what are you doing watching my channel?
We love you, Sarah.
Oh, but yeah, it was so weird. It was a weird, weird dream, and I woke up feeling weird. Like, what was that all about?
Actually, I was thinking like if you do, I know you could like once you have your investigations. If I could be able to come out sometime in the summer to Vegas, that'd be really cool to go with investigation with you out there. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Museum would be fun too. If I ever got to meet Zach, I don't know. I'd just be like, hey, what's up?
He's a really nice guy. I
want to be like a fanboy and like, oh my gosh, Zach Bagans.
He's okay. So just a heads up. He's a bit like socially awkward.
He talks about it like he's very introverted, right?
Yeah, he's very introverted, but he's just awkward. Like, because there are times where he wants to go out and do stuff, but like when it comes to like meeting other people,
Instagram sometimes they're funny with Grace and stuff like that. You watch those?
Yeah. It's like he's one of those that's like if like when it's his birthday, like people would be like, "Oh, happy birthday, Zach! You too." Like, like he's just awkward. He really is just a giant child as well. Like
I see.
The amount of
Aaron is too. I know Aaron's like a goofball. I always hear. Aaron.
Oh my God, yeah. Aaron's like a little bit more so than Zach, but like there were times, I kid you not, I went in because we had like this hidden door area where it went into what was the security room. Yeah. And Zach would be in there hanging out, just watching the security cameras. And there was one time I went in there and Zach was in there with his assistant, Bacon.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Bacon, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, Sarah, do me a favor. And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, tell this idiot to stop chewing with his mouth open with the Jolly Rancher in his mouth. And Bacon, he was just sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's just rolling the candy really loudly in his mouth. And he's just like, you know what I'm talking about, man. And they're just bickering like children. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm in the middle of a tour, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this. You guys figure out whatever this is. Or I will get your mom, Zach. I will get her. So don't tempt me.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know how I discovered you? I discovered you when at the time I think when it was probably it was last year when the Haunted Museum was getting like really like it opened up and
yeah.
I kept on typing like I just wanted to see people's reactions of like the Haunted Museum, and I end up I think the first time I discovered you was when you were doing your live stream. When you just got out of the Haunted Museum. You remember that? Like,
yeah, I think so, yeah.
That was like my first time just chatting away with you guys and stuff.
Yeah, I think, that was one of the times I was still working there and I was just answering questions about what people want to know about the museum.
Right. That was my first one. That was my very first video of watching it. And
I remember that. That was awesome.
I enjoy it. I'm really glad I had met you. You're a really awesome person.
I'm really glad I met you too, Manny. You're awesome too. And like, I'm just so glad to see that like your channel is growing immensely as well. And
I'm
I
trying.
love seeing what you're doing.
I know it's random. Have you thought about your first McBong video? I've done a couple. Because you asked if I did a McDonald's one. I did a Burger King one. Go check it out whenever you can. I did a couple. I done a few. So
yeah, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is when I get back, because my friend Kari, she's working a production shoot right now, and I want to get her in with another video with me because it's been a while since she's been in one with me. And I want to do one with her, and I want to do a mukbang with her because we just both love food. We both love eating anyway, so it'll work out. And I think it would be great to like do a mukbang video talking about what it's like working in a production. Because like I feel like there's so many people on YouTube that work in productions and do production stuff, and they don't really talk about the ups and downs of it all. The struggles and the hardships and everything that go along with it.
Yeah, that would be one because I seen like obviously there's a lot of big YouTubers. I always would love to like one of my favorite YouTubers on Rhinestyle. He does nothing but Dragon Ball Z content. I would love to see like how he like edits his videos, how he makes his videos. I know he uses like a green screen. Now he's like doing Twitch and all that, but I would love to just see a day of his work day of doing all these videos and stuff like that. Because then those things inspire me, and then I can learn a lot from those things too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also too, like, I think people need a little bit more exposure to in the amount of hours that goes into work like that, because I think so many young people, especially, they get into production and everything, and they don't realize you're working like 16 to 20-hour days.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard. And then people end up just giving it up because they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is taking so much time out of my day. And it's like, no, that's production. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's long days.
Very long days and very just exhausting, grueling days, and days that you want to murder everybody around you. But yeah. But I do actually have to get going here in a little bit because my boyfriend's actually on his way home from work right now.
Already?
Well, he goes to work at like 3. That's why I woke up this morning, because he leaves around 3:30.
Like AM, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow. See, I have a hard time getting up by 4 every morning, almost every morning. So, and that's rough.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he works until like around 5, but it's just that he's got to drive from one end of the city to the other. So
he's probably driving an hour.
Yeah. I think it's like a 45-minute commute.
Well, okay. So, well, thank you so much for being my first guest and part of my first podcast. Where can people find you? Plug away.
Oh yeah, anywhere, honestly, like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all under YinYangSara, one word, spelled the same way. YouTube mainly is where I'm most active because I do a lot of live streaming, and I love hearing people share their stories and chat with me, and also give me suggestions on how to remove my dignity for the internet's sake.
Yeah, and I definitely want to do this again with you sometime too, and hopefully I could be I guess on yours too. That would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so fun.
So, all right. Well, thank you for everything.
Thank you, Manny. And yeah, now that we got this all figured out too, we won't have the technical difficulties next time.
One thing I got to work on too, like I know there's probably a chat. I don't know how to get look at chat. I mean, normally on YouTube it shows us like people and stuff like that. So. I don't know if people were trying to comment us. Anyway,
oh, no.
It out.
Oh no!
I don't know, maybe. So I'll figure it out. But it's good. People get to hear our stories and stuff like that. So anyway, all right, let me let you go. But I appreciate everything that you've done.
Thank you, Manny. You're awesome.
All right, have a day. Have a good day. And
yeah, you too. Well, you have a good evening, and Happy New Year.
You too, and I'll see you on your live streams later.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, bye.
Bye.